authority to remove Robert Mueller.
Certainly believes he has the power to do so.
Sanders says the president has cooperated with the special counsel's office and that Mr. Trump has conveyed his unhappiness with the ongoing investigation, as well as this week's FBI raid of his personal attorney's office. Greg Clugston, the White House.
But Florida Senator Marco Rubio says he does not believe the president will move against Mueller.
I don't believe he'll fire Mueller, and if he does, it'll be a terrible mistake, but Mueller would be replaced by someone else who would continue the work. So the best thing that could happen for the president and the country is for Mueller to be able to finish his work.
Facebook chairman Mark Zuckerberg testified before a joint Senate committee today about the data privacy scandal that has rocked the social media giant.
Mark Zuckerberg got right to the heart of the matter in his opening remarks as he faced the issue of data intrusions by the data mining firm Cambridge Analytica conducted on behalf of the Trump campaign.
We didn't take a broad enough view of our responsibility, and that was a big mistake. And it was my mistake, and I'm sorry.
Zuckerberg referred not only to the data privacy issues involving Cambridge Analytica, but also foreign interference like the Russian meddling during the 2016 presidential campaign. Zuckerberg also took the unusual step of opening the door to government regulations of social media platforms with the caveat that they be what he calls the right regulations. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
The spy saga that set off international tumult last month took a positive turn Tuesday as Yulia Skripal was released from a British hospital more than a month after she and her father were poisoned with a military-grade nerve agent. Sergei Skripal, 66, the apparent target of the March 4th attack, is recovering more slowly than his daughter, but continues to improve. On Wall Street, they're up by 429 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hi, this is Jack from Banyan Hill. You might have heard about that $34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks128.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks128.com.
A Swiss reinsurance company says insured losses worldwide from disasters hit a record last year.
An annual study released by the company says total losses from natural and man-made disasters hit $337 billion in 2017, twice as high as the year before and second only to 2011. Much of the economic damage was caused by Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and Maria that struck the Caribbean and the United States last year. Wildfires also caused significant economic damage. Rich Thomason reporting.
The White House says citizens of the country of Chad will be able to receive visas for travel to the U.S. again because the African nation has been removed from the travel ban list. Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says President Trump signed a proclamation announcing Chad had improved its identity management and information sharing practices. Chad made the list in September. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters. The Central Bank of Iran has moved to try and avoid a collapse in the value of the country's currency.
In the bazaars of Tehran, the Iranian rial has been plunging in value at an alarming rate. Against the US dollar, it's worth almost half the value it had just 6 months ago. The central bank has set a new uniform rate of 42,000 rials to the dollar instead of the 60,000 or more it's reached on the open market. That has prompted a rush to currency exchanges in Tehran by people trying to get hard currency at the new improved rate.
BBC correspondent Sebastian Usher reporting. U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen will head to New Mexico for an update on President Trump's proposed border wall. Her trip comes as National Guard members continue arriving on the border under orders from Mr. Trump. Republican governors in Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico have committed at least 1,600 Guard members so far. Nielsen's scheduled to visit new border wall construction efforts Thursday. More at townhall.com.
This is your total information source, The Mike Gallagher Show. We keep you connected to the headlines like no one else, featuring the biggest newsmakers and news breakers.
You've been great, Mike, and I appreciate it very much. You notice I walked over here very quickly.
What I would say to your millions of listeners is now is the time to let your voice be heard.
And now, in the ReliefFactor.com studio, sitting in for Mike today, here's Dr. Everett Piper.
It's April 10th. Welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, sitting in for Mike today. If you don't know who I am, I'm president of the university, obviously, as I just described, so I'm an educator, and I'm also an author. I'm author of the book, Why I'm a Liberal and Other Conservative Ideas. Why I'm a Liberal and Other Conservative Ideas, whereby I argue that it's the conservative today who is really the classical liberal, because we believe in liberty, we believe in justice, we believe in personal freedom, we believe in the First Amendment. So if you're a classical liberal, you should embrace those things, because that's what the classical definition of liberal used to mean. Liberty, liberation. A liberal arts university was an education for freedom and justice, for a free man, a free woman, a free culture, a free people, a free government, a free church, a free corporation, a free country. A liberal arts institution was an education in liberty and liberation. As conservatives, we should champion that word and champion that cause. We can reclaim the high ground of human freedom and human dignity. I'm also the author of Not a Daycare, The Devastating Consequences of Abandoning Truth, where I'm confronting the snowflake rebellion on our college campuses from Berkeley to Brown, where we've got counseling centers with bubbles and coloring books and crayons and videos of frolicking puppies, because our poor little precious snowflakes, our millennials and our Gen Zers, have felt offended by a contrary idea, most often a conservative one, and they need a safe place where they can hunker down and feel comfortable rather than confronted, where they can feel as if their character will never be challenged, because that would be a microaggression and they deserve a trigger warning before that. So that's who I am. So this is April 10th, and Time Magazine tells us that it is a defining day for the President of the United States, because he is going to have to make a decision on two critical issues. One, what are you going to do, Mr. Trump, President Trump, about the FBI raid of your longtime personal attorney, Michael Cohen? How are you going to respond to that? What are you going to do? And Time argues that his decision, our president's decision on how to handle that and how to handle the Mueller investigation and all the other ancillary issues surrounding this raid and the ongoing investigation of our president, it'll be critical in defining his presidency. That's what Time argues, and perhaps even if you're on the conservative side and don't agree with Time on much of anything, we could agree that this is a defining moment. The second issue of the day, the hot button issue of the day that Time argues will be a critical tipping point for the presidency of the United States, is that of Syria. Chemical weapons have been used in attacking a rebel-held village in Douma, a suburb of Damascus. At least 49 people have been killed, last report I read. We've got photos of men and women and children who were suffocated, white foam coming from their mouth and nostrils. Assad and his allies in Moscow and Tehran called the claims that they've actually done this, that Syria has actually done this, bogus. They're denying it. Trump's response, however, has been this. Here's his tweet. Many dead, including women and children, in the mindless chemical attack in Syria. Area of atrocity is in lockdown and encircled by Syrian army, making it completely inaccessible to the outside world. President Putin, Russia, and Iran are responsible for backing animal Assad. Big price, unquote. President Trump then went on to tweet this. If President Obama had crossed his stated red line in the sand, the Syrian disaster would have ended long ago. Animal Assad would have been history, unquote. Israel bombs Syria a couple days later in an air raid near a desert town in central Syria. Do we know if this is in retaliation for the chemical weapons? Did Israel just use it as an opportunity because the distraction on the international scene gave them the opportunity to secure their borders and secure their particular freedoms within the nation of Israel, because they're being bombed daily by the Syrian-backed government, I should say the Iranian-backed government, and the Moscow is backing the Syrian government in its opposition to Israel. Timing and reason for the attack are unclear, perhaps just taking advantage of the recent chemical attack. We don't know what Trump's response is going to be to that. He has said the action will be swift and it will be severe. Nikki Haley has said likewise in terms of her voice at the United Nations. And we also know this, that on Sunday, Yitzhak Yosef, forgive me for my pronunciation here, Sephardi chief rabbi of Israel, condemned the chemical attack. Here's his quote. I have said in the past, and I will say it again, what is happening in Syria is genocide of women and children. It's the cruelest form using weapons of mass destruction, unquote. And he then went on in his statement and said this, we have a moral obligation not to keep quiet and to try and to stop this massacre, unquote. These are the issues of the day. These are the tipping point issues that Time is arguing that will define the Trump presidency in the days ahead, and who could argue otherwise? Coming up after the break, I'm going to bring General Jerry Boykin, on to discuss what his view is of the United States' response to the Syrian situation and the use of chemical weapons and all other things related to it. We will also discuss the just war theory, Christian philosophy, the conservative response that's been in place since the 300s as a response to war and these types of things. Stay with us. Again, this is April 10th. This is Dr. Everett Piper sitting in for Mike Gallagher. We're going to take a break. Remember, the call-in number is 1-800-655-6453. 1-800-655-6453.
Sometimes you pass through me just like a breeze. She gives me a reason for feeling alright. Well,
There's not a day that goes by that I don't hear from somebody, either through an email or a comment or a text message, about how people love their Relief Factor. If you have back pain, neck pain, leg pain, pain from working out at the gym, just pain that you think you have to live with, think again. There's a perfect alternative to ibuprofen. There's a perfect alternative to prescription drugs. Relief Factor, developed by physicians, made from high-quality fish oil and essential nutrients. You know what it works on? I know what it works at. I know what it goes after is the inflammation that causes the pain to begin with. But don't just take my word for it. I can tell you all day long that it works for me, and it does. I take a packet in the morning, a packet in the evening. My lower back pain is completely eliminated. But you try it. Go to ReliefFactor.com. Sign up for the 3-week quick start. It costs just $19.95. You give it a 3-week shot. Decide if it's for you or not. If it's not, you're only out $20. What do you have to lose except for the pain? ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com.
Natural Health Solutions with Chris and Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?
Great, Chris.
Now, you're the CEO of GetTheTea.com, right?
Yes, I am.
What is GetTheTea.com? I mean, is this tea you buy in a store?
Well, no, it's not. Life Change Tea is just that. Life-changing. Life Change Tea is an herbal tea that gently cleanses your body from intruders.
What do you mean by intruders?
Well, intruders are toxins, chemicals, GMOs, heavy metals, and more. They're in our food, in our water, in our air we breathe.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
And Life Change Tea will help you with removing these, as you say, intruders?
That's right, Chris.
Are there side effects with this tea?
Well, you might lose a little weight. When you clean your colon, you lose weight, you feel better, and you have more energy.
Wow. Ronnie, where can people purchase Life Change Tea?
Oh, that's easy. GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com.
Ronnie, I want to thank you for being on the show. People, don't forget, GetTheTea.com.
Is Barack Obama out to stop President Trump? Now, Jerome Corsi's new bestseller, Killing the Deep State, reveals how Obama and his allies are fighting a secret war against President Trump. Killing the Deep State reveals the shocking insider plan to end the Trump presidency. Newsmax says Killing the Deep State is the political book of the year. It's already a #1 bestseller. At bookstores everywhere, or get the free offer and save almost $30. Go online to KillingTheDeepState.com. KillingTheDeepState.com.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor? Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, HomeAdvisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free HomeAdvisor app.
Home Advisor. Mike Gallagher.
Hello, beautiful. I'm Amy Errett, founder of Madison Reed, a hair color company I named after my daughter. When I named this company after Madison, it was a vow on my part to create a company that she would be proud of, that does hair color right and gives women what they deserve. We believe in beautiful, naturally healthy-looking hair and that all women can achieve that. Experience beautiful, multi-dimensional, ammonia-free, salon-quality, at-home hair color for under $25. We believe confident is the new beautiful, so we've done our job if you feel on top of the world unstoppable with your new hair color. Join the hundreds of thousands of women who have tried and loved Madison Reed. Find your perfect shade at madison-reed.com and get 10% off plus free shipping on your first color kit. Use code GREATHAIR123. That's code GREATHAIR123. Try it. Love it. That's the beauty of Madison Reed.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844. Hillsdale College forges character and elevates civic discourse both on campus and nationwide. To find out how you can take their free online courses or receive a complimentary subscription to Imprimis, a monthly speech digest, visit hillsdalefreedom.com. That's hillsdalefreedom.com.
Wondering how you can make a difference with your cell phone? Check out Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative cell phone company. Patriot's mission is to provide a portion of their profits to conservative causes. You get the same great nationwide service as Big Mobile, transparent pricing, competitive plans, easy switching, discounts for active military, veterans, and first responders. All you need to know is their address, patriotmobile.com. That's patriotmobile.com. Patriot Mobile, built on conservative principles.
Mike Gallagher in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
Welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, filling in for Mike. This segment, I want to deal with Syria. And I'm not an expert. And I think that's one of the things conservatives should do also, is defer to the experts. We don't always have the answer because we don't have the education or the training. We should defer to those that do because they've got a greater measure of truth on these issues than we do. A little humility is often something that should be exercised in great measure. And I think conservatives are more prone to do that because we recognize the conservation of God's truth is the measuring rod of the debate as opposed to our opinion and our arrogance. Well, in keeping with that principle, I would like to welcome an expert onto this particular segment. It's General Jerry Boykin, who is the Executive Vice President of the Family Research Council at present. General Boykin, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show.
Well, thank you very much. I am delighted to be with you.
Well, General, I don't know what's going on over here. All I do is read in the news what the pundits want us to think about this particular Syria story. And therefore, I think we need to defer and listen to people who actually know a little bit more than we do, and you obviously are one of those. I do have a few callers on the line that would like to speak with you, too. So I'll let you go ahead and make a couple opening comments, and if you'd like to receive calls and respond to these questions, we can do so. General?
Yeah, that would be fine. Look, the Syrians are being supported by both the Russians and the Iranians. When they use chemical weapons on their own people, as they did over the weekend in the village of Duma, which is very, very close to the capital city itself of Damascus. They do that with the concurrence of the Russians and probably the Iranians too. And the reason for that is very simple. That is that the last thing they want to do is kill a Russian or an Iranian military type that is operating in the area. So they obviously confer with the Russians and the Iranians before they use those chemical weapons. So that makes both Russia and Iran complicit in this activity that occurred in the last couple of days. So I think that the solution here is not just going after Bashar al-Assad and his military, but also demarching both the Russians and the Iranians and putting great pressure on them in a variety of ways, one of which is increased sanctions against both of them, because I believe they are complicit. These chemical weapons, Dr. Piper, are the same chemical weapons that a couple of years ago, under the Obama administration, we, the American public, were told that Russia was taking control of all of the biological and chemical weapons that Russia had, and they were going to remove those from Syria. Well, I said at the time, there is no way at all that that is actually going to happen. And I think that it was wishful thinking on part of the Obama administration. But now we see once again that they're using these chemical weapons just as they did a year ago when Donald Trump's response was 59 Tomahawk missiles. So we're right back at the same place. Trump has to react, and it has to be swift and decisive.
General, are you saying that we should take military action against Syria at this time, or are you advocating some sort of sanctions that would be a predicate to that?
All of the above. I think there has to be a military action, and that sends a message to Russia as well. But I think there has to be military action, but I also think there has to be sanctions that are increased against Russia in particular, and probably Iran too. But I don't think there's any question the Russians are complicit.
Okay, there's a key story out that I want you to comment on, and then if we have time to get to a couple callers, we will. But Tucker Carlson, whom you know well, whom both of us would consider a friend, and probably, at least I'm going to speak for myself, I would align with him on many cases. He's out yesterday suggesting that we don't even know that this story is true. We don't know if Assad actually used the chemical weapons against his own citizens, or is it possible that the rebels used these weapons to try to make it look like Assad had done it so that they could draw the United States and Israel into the battle? How do we know? What do you think of Tucker's commentary? Is he off track here, or does he have a point?
Well, first of all, I agree with you in terms of Tucker being a friend, and I'm very much aligned with him on most issues. And I have asked the same question when these chemical weapons have been used previously. But here's what it comes down to for me. Our president says that these were used by Bashar al-Assad's military. That means that his intelligence community is telling him that. His intelligence community is tracking every airplane that takes off out of the airfields in Syria, and where they go, and some degree of their, some knowledge of their activity. So I believe that the president has been told, and it's been confirmed through the intelligence agencies, that this was the Syrian military. So I accept that, and while I understand why Tucker's asking the question, because I've asked the same question, I believe that this is, in fact, probably confirmed by the intelligence that this was Assad's military.
And you trust the intelligence, and you trust the military leaders that have given that input. General, I'd like to take a call here and let you respond to at least one person, maybe two, before we let you go. Mark from New Jersey, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show.
Thank you.
Mark,
thank you very much.
Mark, I don't know what Mike's rules are, but my rules are be clear and be quick and be done, so that you have time for the general to respond. So, what's your comment or question for Mike Gallagher? Or excuse me, for the general today?
Thank you. Tucker Carlson is correct. We need to be wary of so-called intelligence people, with all due respect to your guest, it was proven the last chemical attack was not proven to be from the Syrian government, which, by the way, is defending the Christians in that country and against the ISIS murderers. And before we use any serious military action, we need to have the facts in. And your guest, I did not hear any facts.
Okay, Mark, let me ask the general.
In Iraq, okay?
Let me ask Mark, let me ask the general to respond to your claim that we don't have all the facts necessary to take action. I think the general's in a good position to respond to that. General? You've got 15 seconds, General. I'm sorry to give you a short response time here.
No problem. I think that we don't have all the facts, but I think we have sufficient facts to know where this was perpetrated from, and as a result of that, to take action. And I do trust Mike Pompeo. I think he's a great intelligence officer and a great leader at the CIA.
General, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Really appreciate it. This is Dr. Everett Piper sitting in for Mike Gallagher on the Mike Gallagher Show. Stick with us. And as we come into the next segment, we're going to have a guest that joins us. Robert Barnes, attorney, constitutional attorney. We're going to circle back around and deal with the Michael Cohen story and the FBI raid of his office.
If you've listened to my show before, you know that I have loved ones who have struggled with addiction. Malibu Detox was founded on the basis of providing individualized care in a comfortable, private environment located in 2 facilities in picturesque Malibu, California, both focused on privacy, anonymity, safety, comfort. If you are on the recovery journey, I want you to remember the phone number I'm about to give you, because if addiction is wrecking you or your life, your family, your loved ones, if you have private insurance, treatment may cost you little or nothing. Please don't let addiction rob you of one more day. I've been in your shoes. I know what this battle feels like. Make the safe, confidential call to learn all about Malibu Detox. 888-914-7313. This could be the most important phone call you make today. Malibu Detox. The call is safe. The call is confidential. 888-914-7313. Call today before it's too late.
Mike Gallagher.
Let's talk about the tax cuts passed last year by Congress. As you know, not a single Democrat voted for them. Those same Democrats called the savings from the tax cuts crumbs. The fact is, the average American family will save more than $1,500 this year. Some will save more. Now, that may sound like crumbs to folks in Washington, D.C., but that's real money to most Americans. The tax cuts are especially good for Americans over 50 and our seniors, too. Electric bills have been slashed, 401ks have risen, and dividends have as well. All great news for Americans over 50. Where was AARP during the great tax fight? They were silent. Worse, AARP's website now pushes Democrat talking points. At AMAC, we worked hard to support the tax cuts, but we also need to push the government to stop its reckless spending. Congress heard from our 1 million members loud and clear, but we've still got work to do. The stakes are high this November, and that's why you need to join AMAC today at amac.us. That's amac.us.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. Discussion forum company Reddit issued its transparency report for 2017 during Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's Senate appearance today, saying it had found and banned 944 suspicious accounts associated with Russia's Internet Research Agency. Reddit CEO Steve Huffman said in a post the company is cooperating with Congress. The top federal prosecutor in Manhattan has been recused from involvement in the FBI's probe of President Trump's personal lawyer. Jeffrey Berman was named the interim U.S. attorney for Manhattan in January. The Republican's a former law partner of former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani, who was one of Mr. Trump's big backers. And the president's canceled the South American trip so he could consider a military strike in Syria. He was scheduled to leave this week. This is SRN News.
Hi, this is Jack from Banyan Hill. You might have heard about that $34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks128.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks128.com.
Excited. The very first offer that I was able to give you from MyPillow is back. Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, has this original offer once again for anyone who wants to buy the MyPillow. MyPillow is offering the Mike 4-pack at 50% off when you use the promo code MikeG. This is the absolute best pillow you'll ever sleep on in your life. I sleep like a baby with MyPillow because it conforms to my head and my neck and my back in a way that no other pillow ever has, ever. And this pillow never gets hot during the night, and you can pop it in the washer and the dryer whenever you want. If you're looking for the perfect pillow, now's the perfect time. Comes with a money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty, great customer service. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG, MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG, or call 800-928-6034, 800-928-6034. Use the promo code MikeG.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code MikeG.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come springtime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small. Painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Three police officers got on a plane after being called by United and says, you got to get off the plane. Did that happen?
Did they follow their procedures, Mike?
Did the police officers? Yes, they did.
Some spirited give and take on the Mike Gallagher Show.
That's not America. We are a nation of laws, and even authority has to follow their laws. Okay, sir, that's my rant.
Yeah, a nice little rant, and my response is you're delusional.
One day, I will insult you in a way you can understand.
Yeah, well, the proof is in the pudding.
There you go. All right, nice, good response. Great to hear from you. There's 4 minutes of my life I'll never get back, but I tried. Didn't I do good?
Now, back to Mike in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
Welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, author of Not a Daycare, The Devastating Consequences of Abandoning Truth, sitting in for Mike. I'd like to give our next guest as much time as we can in this particular segment. But for those who are on the line waiting to engage in this conversation, stay with me. Stick with me, if you will. And remember, the call-in number is 1-800-655-6453. That's 1-800-655-6453. I'm going to bring the next guest on right now, and then we will be taking calls, if not during this segment, definitely in the next. So stick with me. 1-800-655-6453. I want to circle the wagons back around and start the conversation again with regard to the FBI raid on Michael Cohen, longtime personal attorney of Donald Trump, on Michael Cohen's office. With us right now is a constitutional attorney, Robert Barnes. Mr. Barnes, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. Mr. Barnes, do I have you? Welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show.
Yes, happy to be here.
Well, it's good to have you right now. We've talked a little bit about this FBI raid on Michael Cohen's personal office and the fact that obviously he's a longtime attorney of President Trump. What does this mean? We've got everybody all over the map here. We've got red states saying it's no big deal, that this has happened before and we shouldn't be overreacting. We shouldn't be throwing out these hyperbolic labels like these people are fascist, this is a constitutional crisis and all this kind of stuff. Red state is actually, at least one of their authors, is saying that we're overreacting. Conservatives need to calm down. In fact, that's the headline of that particular article. Of course, you've got lots of other news out there where people are saying this is a major issue. This is a major issue, and it is potentially a constitutional crisis in terms of what's happening in terms of targeting an individual in illegal and unorthodox fashion. Would you like to give us a little teaching in this particular issue in terms of constitutional law?
Sure. First of all, it is unprecedented. It has never happened before in American history that the private papers of the president's private counsel have been raided by a federal prosecutor. And here, a federal prosecutor who was not elected to office, who was not appointed to his office by elected officials, and is currently not being supervised by anyone who was appointed by elected officials in any meaningful manner. So it is utterly unprecedented, and it does pose a fundamental challenge, which is the most powerful domestic aspect of the executive branch, is it going to be governed by deep state bureaucrats or by the people that were democratically elected to run that office? So
okay, this is unprecedented. If this is unprecedented, that's one thing. Is it illegal? That's a key question that we need to answer as conservatives right now. Is this a violation of the law?
It is highly likely to be a violation of the law. The probability that they had probable cause to search the attorney-client privileged records of the president with his private counsel is extremely low. And this comes in the context of Manafort's motion to suppress, which documented the most pervasive Fourth Amendment violations I've ever seen in a motion to suppress by Mueller's team. Everything you could do to violate a search warrant and the Fourth Amendment, Mueller pretty much did if Manafort's pleadings turn out correct. And to give you a context for this in deciding, who's credible, who's not, Professor Dershowitz, who is a liberal, who is a Democrat, called it a frightful day what happened yesterday.
Okay, couple questions I want to get out here while we've got you on the line. Why is the FBI investigating this issue? If it goes back to Stormy Daniels and all of these salacious claims, if it goes back to that, why is the FBI rather than the FEC investigating this? Isn't this a FEC issue as opposed to FBI? What's going on?
Oh, completely. In fact, even liberal legal analyst Ari Melber for MSNBC said that there was no evidence of a FEC crime or violation by Cohen here. This goes back to the John Edwards case. And in the John Edwards case, a lot of scholars said it was very nebulous for them to bring that prosecution, even in Edwards' case where there was a direct connection between the payoff and campaign funds. Here, that didn't happen at all. So they're stretching the law, which, by the way, is what Mueller's team has done. Andrew Weissman, his number two, was scolded by the Supreme Court in a 9-0 decision for expanding the law in inappropriate ways in the Arthur Anderson and Enron prosecutions. So they have a long history of coming up with creative, novel theories that simply don't apply, and that appears to be what happened here. They're getting into an area that they're not supposed to be going into, and they're invading a privilege that has never been invaded before as it relates to the President of the United States to do it. So that's why it's very unprecedented, and it looks like a witch hunt. That's what it looks like. It looks like the old Stasi Soviet secret police, which was show me the man and I'll find you the crime.
Okay, Mr. Barnes, I've commented earlier that I think conservatives should be quiet, should be patient, let due process carry on, and not rush to judgment one way or another. In other words, I'm kind of telling our conservative brothers and sisters out there, keep it down, don't engage in these hyperbolic accusations. You may disagree with me on that. Now, before you answer, do you have time to stick with me after the break, or do you need to run?
No, I'm good.
Okay, go ahead and answer that question. I won't take any calls. Answer that question. We'll take a break after that, and then we'll get you back on to take some Q&A thereafter.
Absolutely. The problem here is the precedent it sets. If we have a grand inquisitor, which is how Mueller is acting, then it sets a dangerous and precarious precedent for ordinary people. If a billionaire who's the president of the United States can have his privacy and privilege rights so easily violated, what rights do the rest of us have? That's why there has to be remedial action now. We can't wait for the courts to do something about this because, sadly, they've proven to be completely inadequate in enforcing the law, especially as it applies to Trump. They've changed immigration laws that are related to Trump. They've come with creative constitutional
so you've got
ideas that would never exist.
So you've got conservatives like me, and I'm not the only one, who are saying, calm down. We need to wait to see what the facts are. Don't rush to judgment. Don't jump on the bandwagon that this is another Nazi regime and this is fascism run loose. I've said that this morning, and I'm sure I've made some people probably uncomfortable and said, well, wait a second, you're being too patient. You need to fight back and fight back aggressively. It sounds to me like you're taking a little bit more of an aggressive stance here. Comment quickly on that, and then we'll take a break after you're done.
I believe it is absolutely necessary to send a message that this kind of unconstitutional conduct cannot take place in the future, and that requires immediate remedial action now. The executive branch must be governed by democratic institutions, not undemocratic bureaucrats. We can't have a grand inquisitor. We need to shut that down now to prevent it from happening again in the future.
All right. When we come back after the break, I want you to clarify what that remedial action should be, and what you think the conservative movement should do to preserve its integrity as true conservatives that don't get sucked into compromising our principles just for political gain. But I want you to coach us and counsel us, and then we're going to take a few phone calls during that particular segment so you can answer these callers' questions on this particular issue. This is Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, sitting in for Mike Gallagher on the Mike Gallagher Show today. Stick with us. We're going to take a break. The call-in number is 1-800-655-6453. That's 1-800-655-6453. Be right back after the break.
eHarmony is built. It's in their DNA to help find lasting, meaningful relationships between people. They take all the steps that other dating sites don't in order to find you a more compatible match. eHarmony has helped over 1 million people find their perfect match. You see, they have decades of science, data, and psychological research to send you the right matches. eHarmony is bringing compatible people together. They're the number one most trusted dating site or app based on a 2018 survey of 616 U.S. singles. It does work. If you've been looking for love in the wrong places, I hope you will take a moment to look for love in the right place. eHarmony. Stop waiting. Start your journey to a satisfying, meaningful relationship. It can be fun to play around with online dating apps, but when you're ready to fall in love with someone, have a meaningful relationship, there's one app built to bring you real love. eHarmony. See how eHarmony can change your life. Go to eHarmony.com. Get started. Enter my code MG at checkout.
Mike Gallagher.
Been wondering how you can make a difference with your cell phone? Check out Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative cell phone company. Patriot was founded in 2014 by conservatives looking to take on companies that are directly funding liberal causes. Yes, it's really happening. Patriot Mobile was built on conservative principles like the Constitution, smaller government, and free markets and trade. They'll donate up to 5% of each bill to conservative causes. You see, you can make a difference with your cell phone. And as a consumer, how does this sound? With Patriot Mobile, you get the same great nationwide service as Big Mobile. Transparent pricing, competitive plans, easy switching, discounts for active military, veterans, and first responders. Patriot Mobile. Make the conservative choice today. They're easy to find. All you need to know is their address, patriotmobile.com. That's patriotmobile.com. Patriot Mobile, the only cell phone company built on conservative principles.
I am so excited. The very first offer that I was able to give you from MyPillow is back. Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, has this original offer once again for anyone who wants to buy the MyPillow. MyPillow is offering the Mike 4-pack at 50% off when you use the promo code MikeG. This is the absolute best pillow you'll ever sleep on in your life. I sleep like a baby with MyPillow because it conforms to my head and my neck and my back in a way that no other pillow ever has, ever. And this pillow never gets hot during the night, and you can pop it in the washer and the dryer whenever you want. If you're looking for the perfect pillow, now's the perfect time. Comes with a money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty, great customer service. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG, MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG, or call 800-928-6034, 800-928-6034. Use the promo code MikeG.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code MikeG.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100-plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/America. That's ZipRecruiter.com/America. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/America.
Spearphishing has or will strike your business, wreaking havoc on your employees, brand, and your bottom line. Spearphishing can't be stopped by traditional email security solutions because messages appear to be legitimate from your boss, a trusted colleague, or a vendor asking you to wire money, confirm login credentials, or worse. Barracuda Sentinel is artificial intelligence for real-time spearphishing and cyber fraud defense. Reclaim your email in minutes with zero impact on network performance. Visit barracuda.com/AI.
Mike Gallagher in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
Welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, a university where we stand for the primacy of Christ, the priority of Scripture, the pursuit of truth, and the practice of wisdom. Sitting in for Mike this afternoon. I have with me right now constitutional attorney, Robert Barnes. Robert, welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. We're going to take a couple questions here in a second.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, I want to show deference to this gentleman who's been on the line for us for a few minutes. I've got some questions for you, and we'll venture into those. But I want to go to, let's see, I've got to find the right guy here. Okay, Ron in Hawaii. My land, Ron, you're up early. Ron, welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show.
Thank you. Hey, Dr. Piper, I really appreciate
You've been up since the wee hours of the morning here waiting to get on this particular conversation, so I'm going to honor that. What question do you have for the attorney, Robert Barnes?
Well, I'm wondering, while I really appreciate your definition of conservatism, Dr. Piper, I also believe that there's been a creep here in the Mueller investigation, and at what point does the president step in and take action? I mean, whatever he does, the left is going to cry obstruction of justice. What are his options, as your guest sees it, short of firing Mueller, and what does he think he should do?
Okay, so I assume you're suggesting, Ron, that the president should not fire Mueller, and we'll see what Mr. Barnes thinks.
Shouldn't.
Okay, all right, Mr. Barnes, your response.
Yes, I think as good conservatives, we go back to having constitutional government be enforced. We have the Appointments Clause of the Constitution was designed to prevent someone from having the power of the president, who is neither the president nor appointed by the president, nor put into place in the constitutional chain of command. That's what Mueller is, and that is because Rosenstein made a wayward authorization, as Andrew McCarthy and others have noted. It didn't even conform to the special counsel statute. Mueller has been unwilling to recognize even those limits. He did the Manafort raid without authority. He had to get it 7 days later after he did the search warrant raid. He had to get authority after the fact in order to excuse his conduct, even though it was outside the scope of his authority. And he's proven himself unreliable and untrustworthy. And as this investigation expands, he has so many conflicts of interest, it makes a mockery of the U.S. Attorney's Office to have someone like Mueller running this kind of case, where basically his conflicts of interest connected to his friendship with Comey, to his relationship to Ukrainian One, to his relationships with the Clintons and the Obamas. There's just even his Wilmer Hale status when he was there. Wilmer Hale's represented people like Manafort. I mean, it's just a debacle. It's the worst ethical debacle I've ever seen of any special counsel in American legal history. So he just
it sounds to me. It sounds to me like you're advocating that if you were counseling the president, if you were the advisor to the president of the United States, would you tell him to fire Mueller?
Yes. The way I would do it is that technically that decision should probably come from Sessions, Attorney General Sessions. And Attorney General Sessions could do it in multiple contexts. He could remind everybody he's only recused himself from campaign-related cases, and that anything that's not a campaign-related case from the campaign season has to go through him, not through anybody else. Second, he never should have put Rosenstein in place in the first instance, but Mueller never should have been hired. Even if you agree with the special counsel statute, and I think it's been misapplied here, Mueller never should have been the one hired for that. It should have been someone completely outside and independent. If we had someone like Alan Dershowitz as special counsel, none of these issues arise.
So, now again, this may be outside of your area of expertise, but there would be political consequences for this decision. So if he were to fire Mueller and Rosenstein, there would be great political outcry. Would the president be able to weather that storm in light and defend himself constitutionally or legally? What's your prediction on the consequences of that?
Constitutionally and legally, he would be completely in the clear. In fact, he'd be enforcing the law and the Constitution and protect the rights of ordinary Americans. Politically, he's going to face bad consequences no matter what. The problem is, what we don't want to have happened is what happened during the Hoover reign at the FBI, where Hoover was basically able to extort the legislative and executive branches into never disciplining his course of conduct because of the information he had on them. Comey tried to recreate that with the dossier production to Trump at the very first meeting between the two of them, and Mueller is attempting to do the same. So if we ever get to a place where people say the head of the executive branch can't fire someone underneath him, then we've reached a place where the executive branch is no longer being democratically governed. So yes, the president's going to take hits. Reality, he's going to take those hits no matter what. Mueller has shown no limits, no restrictions, no restraints, and what Trump would be doing would be good for the country, just like firing Comey. You look at the debacle of what happened in Parkland, that Comey's FBI was complicit in failing to properly investigate. He did the country a favor, even though he took a lot of political shrapnel for it. The same is true here. He will take a lot of political shrapnel, but it's what's right for the country.
Okay, so I have two issues that need legal definition, and you need to counsel us through this, teach us a little bit, those of us who are not lawyers. You've got the crime-fraud exception, and then you have attorney-client privilege. The left is claiming one principle, the right is claiming the other principle. Can you tell us what's the tension between the two, and how do they relate to this particular situation? Crime-fraud exception and attorney-client privilege.
Crime-fraud exception is a very limited exception. So what it means is if I'm not really acting as someone's attorney, but instead I'm conspiring to commit a particular crime, then their communications that related to committing that crime are not privileged. In order to be able to breach the privilege, you have to meet a high evidentiary standard to show that in the first instance. You can't just allege it. And that's the big problem here. So, yes, there is a crime-fraud exception to attorney-client privilege, but the crime-fraud, they didn't meet the probable cause standard here that it applied. And more importantly, that doesn't justify the scope of the search. So if they said, oh, well, we think that there was communications that took place based on a porn star and a disreputable attorney, Michael Avenatti, who's under investigation for tax evasion and other things, documented by the Seattle Times, Stormy Daniels' lawyer. If you're going to take the words of those kind of people in order to justify trying to claim probable cause of a crime-fraud exception to attorney-client privilege records, your search can only relate to those records. It's clear they seized everything. It's clear that, according to Cohen's counsel, they seized attorney-client records that had nothing to do with that conversation or that subject matter. So that's what shows that this was not in good faith, this was not consistent with the law, and this was an attempt to make an end run around attorney-client privilege. And this comes from a prosecutor, Mueller, and his team, who have a history, a proven, documented history of violating rights of the people they target. And just read the various pleadings in the Manafort case, and whatever you think of Manafort, he has rights like everybody else, and it's clear that they're flagrantly and routinely violating those rights.
Okay, one last question for you, and then I'm going to let you go. What if we're wrong? What if conservatives are wrong? What if there is a problem? What if the law has been violated and Mueller actually has enough evidence to pursue this and we've got egg on our face? What do we do?
Well, that's what the democratic processes are in place for. So if we later discover or people discover that there's something bad that happened here, we have elections to unelect people or not reelect them. We have a legislative branch that can impeach people, and that's the proper protocol. What we don't do is create a permanent bureaucratic structure of a permanent presidential prosecutor who's above the law and beyond democracy and doesn't consider himself restrained or restricted by the Constitution or the laws that govern his course of conduct, as he has proven. If Mueller didn't have the history he had and hasn't proven his wayward conduct as he has to date in this case, then it would be a different story. But the reason why we're here is because he's been unwilling and unable to follow the rules and to follow the democratic processes. That's what's really in check. Do we, the people, get to decide, or do unelected bureaucrats get to decide?
Mr. Barnes, this has been an excellent segment. I really appreciate your teaching, because that's what you've done for us. You've taught us what it means to be a constitutional conservative. Thank you for coming on the Mike Gallagher Show.
Happy to be here.
This is Dr. Everett Piper, and I've been honored to sit in for Mike Gallagher today. At the top of the hour, we'll come back and we'll be discussing the Snowflake Rebellion and other stories.
Got an email last night from a lady in Florida who doubted my sincerity about Relief Factor until she tried it. She tried Relief Factor. In her case, it took her almost 3 weeks, and she woke up pain-free. Relief Factor was the answer she's been looking for. This makes my 60 seconds to tell you about Relief Factor some of the happiest times of my day, because I know people are going to get the relief that they've been craving. You can get all the pain relief benefits of Relief Factor without the negative side effects of ibuprofen or prescription drugs. Physicians created Relief Factor as a crucial way to support the body's fights against aches and pains. So no matter your age, maybe you're just too sore after a great workout at the gym, or if you're like me and you're of a certain age and you want to start dealing with the aches and pains of life, give Relief Factor a try. The 3-week quick start is $19.95. Try it for 3 weeks. It's $19.95. Decide if it's for you or not. ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384. 800-500-8384. Relief Factor.
Bob Jones University is committed to providing an outstanding, regionally accredited Christian liberal arts education, purposely designed to inspire a lifelong pursuit of learning, loving, and leading. Our highly credentialed faculty are committed to inspiring students both in and out of the classroom. That's why Bob Jones University pre-med graduates are accepted to med school within 1 year of graduation at double the national average. Visit bju.edu or call 800-252-6363 to find out more. That's bju.edu or 800-252-6363.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Now, a new generation of Americans is asking if the media are doing enough for our country. And that's why millions are tuning into Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing conservative news channel, already in 50 million homes. Go to Newsmax TV. It's real news for real people, every minute, every day. Newsmax TV on DirecTV 349, Dish 216, UVerse 1220, and Fios 615.
Mike Gallagher.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards. The interest on the cards was really high. I was making the minimum payments, but barely. And it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
They did help me learn how to manage my money. Now, we have a house, and we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Holly, and I am debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
24/7 WCAB is serving the foothills of the Carolinas. Learn more about us at www.wcab59.com.
Townhall.com, I'm Ron DeRockstra. The much-anticipated face-off between Mark Zuckerberg and lawmakers took place today on Capitol Hill before a joint Senate hearing. The Facebook CEO took questions about data mining firm Cambridge Analytica, which accessed the private information of some 87 million Facebook users during the presidential campaign.
Senator Richard Durbin got right to the heart of the matter when he asked Mark Zuckerberg, how does it feel to have your personal information exposed?
Would you be comfortable sharing with us the name of the hotel you stayed in last night?
No.
What about any messages he may have sent this week?
Senator, no, I would probably not choose to do that publicly here.
I think that may be what this is all about.
Senators are floating some regulatory proposals for social media platforms. Zuckerberg says he's open to that, and he pledges to work with Congress to come up with what he calls the right regulations. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
Stocks jumped today after Chinese President Xi Jinping said Beijing would reduce tariffs on imported cars and improve intellectual property protection. The Dow gained 429 points. Senate Judiciary Committee Chair Chuck Grassley says it would be political suicide for President Trump to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller. The Iowa Republican said he has confidence in Mueller, and Mr. Trump should too. Florida Senator Marco Rubio also said he doesn't believe that the president will move against Mueller.
I don't believe he'll fire Mueller, and if he does, it'll be a terrible mistake, but Mueller would be replaced by someone else who would continue the work. So the best thing that could happen for the president and the country is for Mueller to be able to finish his work.
The president's been fuming after federal agents raided his personal attorney's office in New York. He called the Mueller investigation a witch hunt. The president took time out Tuesday to welcome the University of Alabama football team, this year's national champion, after they defeated Georgia 26-23. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
Hi, this is Jack from Banyan Hill. You might have heard about that $34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks128.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks128.com.
A warning after 3 people died and more than 100 others got sick using fake marijuana.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has sent an alert to doctors nationwide. The fake marijuana was likely contaminated with rat poison. The deaths were reported in Illinois. Emergency rooms in Indiana, Missouri, Wisconsin, and Maryland have also treated patients. Symptoms include coughing up blood, blood in the urine, severe bloody noses, bleeding gums, and internal bleeding. Fake marijuana is also called synthetic cannabinoids and is sold in smoke shops and other stores as liquids and can be used in e-cigarettes or in dried plant material that can be smoked. Nicknames include K2, Spice, and Kush. I'm Ed Donahue.
On this date in 1866, the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals was incorporated. More on these stories at townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. Opening remarks Monday and Tuesday in the sexual assault retrial of Bill Cosby, the prosecution anticipated it would be the accuser that would be under the attack.
Prosecutors made their opening statement on Monday, and they said that this is a case about a powerful man taking advantage of a much younger woman. They made it a case about betrayal as well, but their spin on it was that Cosby was the one who betrayed Andrea Constand.
Correspondent Michael Sisak reports more testimonies expected tomorrow from women who allege they were assaulted by the comedian. Virginia lawmakers coming back to the Capitol for a special session to try to pass a budget after failing to do so earlier this year. The hang-up is an intra-party feud between Republicans in the GOP-led General Assembly over whether to expand Medicaid. After 5 years of unity, Republicans are now seemingly split on the issue. You can get more news and read more analysis at townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
Hi, Tom Green with a check on your weather going into Wednesday. Partly cloudy, isolated showers, a low around 43. Sunshine, a high 67. Sunny on Thursday with a high 75. And Friday, mostly sunny with a high around 79. We thank you for tuning to us for the latest in news, sports, and weather. Join Jim Bishop at 6:05 for the Wake Up Call, morning call-around report, and great gospel music. Lou Gillum midday. I'll be in the afternoon with yesterday's memories and the afternoon call-around report here on AM 590 WCAB Rutherford.
This is your total information source, The Mike Gallagher Show. We keep you connected to the headlines like no one else, featuring the biggest newsmakers and news breakers.
You've been great, Mike, and I appreciate it very much. You notice I walked over here very quickly.
What I would say to your millions of listeners is now is the time to let your voice be heard.
And now, in the ReliefFactor.com studio, sitting in for Mike today, here's Dr. Everett Piper.
And welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, filling in for Mike. Honored to be here. Again, I'm president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, which is in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. That's north of Tulsa. Oklahoma Wesleyan University is a conservative Christian institution. We have 4 pillars in our mission statement: the primacy of Jesus Christ, the priority of Scripture, the pursuit of truth, and the practice of wisdom. In other words, at Oklahoma Wesleyan, we actually teach and we actually believe that Jesus is the Son of God, the Bible is the Word of God, that truth is a revelation of God, not made up by you or me, and that wisdom, if you will, holiness, sanctification, obedience is demanded by God. It isn't optional. Those are the 4 pillars for Oklahoma Wesleyan University. And this isn't necessarily just a sales pitch for my university. What I would argue is this is the context for a conservative worldview, the conservation of God's time-tested truths. This is the definition of what it means to be truly conservative, a person who believes in conserving those things that matter, those ideas that have been endowed to us by whom? A creator. A conservative believes that ideas are endowed by a creator, and those ideas serve as the context for human freedom and human liberty. It's the conservation of those time-tested truths that give us a constitutional republic. It is those ideas that matter. And every news story we're dealing with, whether it be today or otherwise, is going to be grounded in that foundation or not. And if it's built on that foundation, you're going to have a stable argument, a stable debate. You're going to have an answer at the end of the dialogue. It's not just going to be an open and meaningless and aimless conversation. By the way, I hate the word conversation. I am so sick and tired of hearing the word conversation in our culture today, because every time I hear it, it implies capitulation. It implies compromise. It does not imply confidence and courage and conviction. It is time for the conservative to step forward into the market square of ideas and recognize that there is a measuring rod outside of those things being measured, and that's what allows us to do the measuring of the debate. It's time for the conservative to reclaim the high ground of classical liberalism and to fight for liberty and liberation and freedom and justice. And what we will deal with in this segment and those that follow is this whole idea of what's taking place in our college and university communities. We're going to talk about the snowflake rebellion, this call for trigger warnings, this cry about microaggressions, this idea that the university is a place where you can feel safe, and it's not a place where you will necessarily have to be in fear of being challenged by a contrary idea. This is lunacy. As an educator, I recognize this is the antithesis of classical liberalism. Why do I say liberalism? Because a liberal arts institution was founded some 1,000 years ago. Let's go back to Oxford, and let's say that's the cradle of the Liberal Arts Academy. Why was it called a liberal arts institution? Well, it's very clear and it's very simple. It was a liberal arts institution because it was an education for liberty, an education in liberation, an education for freedom and justice and what's right and what's wrong, an education for a free man and a free woman, a free culture, a free society, a free church, and a free government. My first book was titled Why I'm a Liberal and Other Conservative Ideas. Why? It's because I'm arguing as a bold and unapologetic conservative that I'm more classically liberal than my left-of-center counterpart. Why? It's because I believe in liberty. I believe in freedom. I believe in justice. And the proof is in the pudding. Look at the snowflake rebellion from Berkeley to Brown. You've got students who are pouting and parading in the campus green because they don't like a contrary idea. They don't like Ben Shapiro, for example. They don't like him coming to their campus and expressing his views within the market square of ideas. And the irony is this: Berkeley fancies itself as the birthplace of the free speech movement. But yet you watch the news and Berkeley students and their faculty are championing the silencing of free speech because they don't like Shapiro's ideas or someone else's ideas. They don't like my ideas and your ideas. They don't like the conservative ideas. So the solution is to silence it, to squash you. It's ideological fascism rather than academic freedom. And I'll say that again. This is ideological fascism rather than academic freedom. And why do I make that claim? A fascist, here's a little history lesson. A fascist was a Roman bundle of sticks that was bound together so tightly that it could not be broken. A bundle of sticks bound together with twine. You couldn't break it. And it's from that we get the word fascism. Fascism is commonality. You're bound together in unity so tightly that you cannot be broken. The common bond will squash anyone else. You must be one of us. You must think like us. You must walk like us. You must talk like us. You must believe like we believe, and you must behave as we behave. And if you don't, you will be silenced. You will be expelled. You are verboten. You're unwelcome. Your views are forbidden. Now, how in the world can Berkeley or Brown or anybody in between claim to be champions of intellectual liberty and academic freedom and yet silence the opposing view? Again, it's ideological fascism. It is not academic freedom. This is an opportunity for the conservative to step into the market square of ideas and to reclaim the high ground of the definition of words. Words like liberal and conservative. Words like green. It used to mean a color. It wasn't a political and economic agenda driven by the left. Words like gay. It used to mean happiness, not sexual license. Words like male and female. We used to be able to define a man and a woman. We used to believe that women were real, that they were biological facts, not the fabrication of culture or a dysphoric male who wants to raise his hand on a given day and say, I'm a woman. Words like marriage. We used to understand that marriage was a sacrament of the church. It wasn't a function of the government. These are things that the conservative can do. And when we deal with stories like Syria, or when we deal with stories like the FBI raid on Donald Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, we need to recognize there's a measuring rod outside of those things being measured that allows us to do the measuring of the debate. It's not about power. It's not about politics. It's not about propaganda. It's not about the professor. And it's frankly not about the president. We have eternal principles that allow us to engage in this debate, not venture into fallacies and ad hominem attacks, that when we disagree as conservatives, we can actually do it civilly and robustly and aggressively, because truth will judge the debate. Not you, not me, not power, not politics, but truth will judge the debate. That allows us to have academic freedom and intellectual liberty. That is the measuring rod of true First Amendment rights and justice and righteousness and liberty and freedom. This is Dr. Everett Piper, sitting in for Mike Gallagher on The Mike Gallagher Show. We're going to take a break right now, and when we come back, I welcome your calls to engage in this debate with a measuring rod of truth, measuring your views and mine. The call-in number is 1-800-655-6453. That's 1-800-655-6453. We'll be right back after this break.
Have you wanted to refinance your mortgage, but you just didn't want to start over with a 30-year loan? I want to tell you about American Financing. They can help you. This is a great company. When you refinance to eliminate mortgage insurance or lower your rate or consolidate high-interest debt, you don't have to worry about resettling your loan, because at American Refinancing, they're not having you reset your loan. They offer 9 or 13 or 18-year loans, really any term you need. I love the fact that American Financing offers custom loans. You choose the term based on your budget. They're going to find the most competitive interest rate for you. It's your mortgage. They know it. That's what they do. They'll guide you through options. They'll customize the right program for you. This is a great company. They can get you closed in as fast as 10 days. Get started now. Call 866-920-8838. That's American Financing, 866-920-8838 or AmericanFinancing.net. Great company to work with.
American Financing, NMLS 182334, www.nmls, consumeraccess.org.
Hi folks, Ronnie here from Life Change Tea. There's a lot of hubbub about the ramifications of GMOs. First of all, what are GMOs? Genetically modified organisms. Yee! Man-made organisms entering our body, changing and damaging us from the inside out. What's our defense? First of all, not eating them. Second, cleansing from them when we do eat them. Thank God for Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. Life Change Tea cleanses from toxins, heavy metals, and helps flush GMOs out of your body. Our unique blend of herbs help cleanse you from the inside out, helping you feel refreshed and clean of yee. We also carry unique one-of-a-kind supplements. So order online at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Rid yourself of the yee that contaminates your food and water. Go to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Get the tea, your best defense.
If you're a timeshare owner, listen up. I have some great news for you. Lone Star Transfer is the #1 company to help you get out of your timeshare. No one wants to deal with the timeshare, but when you have to, no one does it better than my friends at Lone Star Transfer. Imagine never having to pay another maintenance fee. What a great feeling. Everyone knows you don't have to own a timeshare to go on beautiful vacations. Free up that cash to go where and when you want. Wouldn't it be terrific to be out of your timeshare quickly and effortlessly? Lone Star Transfer will do the work to get it done. Lone Star Transfer has helped over 6,000 clients, and they have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, all with an outstanding success rate. Don't let another day go by living in angst. I want you to call now and get out of that timeshare once and for all. Do it the right way with Lone Star Transfer. Call toll-free 844-310-3116. That's 844-310-3116 or online at lonestartransfer.com.
Mike Gallagher.
Let's talk about the tax cuts passed last year by Congress. As you know, not a single Democrat voted for them. Those same Democrats called the savings from the tax cuts crumbs. The fact is, the average American family will save more than $1,500 this year. Some will save more. Now, that may sound like crumbs to folks in Washington, D.C., but that's real money to most Americans. The tax cuts are especially good for Americans over 50 and our seniors, too. Electric bills have been slashed, 401ks have risen, and dividends have as well. All great news for Americans over 50. Where was AARP during the great tax fight? They were silent. Worse, AARP's website now pushes Democrat talking points. At AMAC, we worked hard to support the tax cuts, but we also need to push the government to stop its reckless spending. Congress heard from our 1 million members loud and clear, but we've still got work to do. The stakes are high this November, and that's why you need to join AMAC today at amac.us. That's amac.us.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-651-4888 now. That's 800-651-4888 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-651-4888 to learn more. 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come springtime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small. Painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
On a warm summer's evening, on a train bound for nowhere, I met up with a gambler. We were both too tired to sleep, so we took turns of staring out the window.
Mike Gallagher in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
and he began to speak.
Welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, sitting in for Mike. Oklahoma Wesleyan University is a Christian liberal arts institution, a Christian liberal arts university. I am an academic. I've been in this particular industry my entire career. I sell things. Several of you are businessmen or businesswomen out there. You may be in marketing. You may be in sales. You may produce a product. Well, I'm in the same business. I'm in marketing. I'm in sales. I produce a product. My product is ideas, and I believe that ideas have consequences. I believe they matter. In fact, I hearken back to the words of Richard Weaver, seminal work in 1948. It was titled Ideas Have Consequences. And what was Weaver's point? Ideas have consequences. You hardly need to crack the book to understand what Weaver was saying. He was basically saying this: good ideas lead to good culture, good community, good kids, good behavior, and good government, good church, etc. And bad ideas will lead to the opposite: bad government, bad community, bad kids, bad behavior. Garbage in, garbage out. It's like your grandmother told you. Ideas have consequences. This isn't complicated. Now, why is 1948 important in this anecdote? It's because Richard Weaver was looking backward just a handful of years to what? To the Holocaust, to the Nazi Holocaust, to the Third Reich. He was looking back to World War II, and he was telling his own culture, we should have seen this coming. It was as predictable as the sunrise. Ideas have consequences. And as an educator, I'm passionate about that. We have to recognize that the conservative movement is a movement of ideas, not a movement of power. It's a movement of principles, not power, of ideas, not ideologues. This is a movement that sustains itself because it's enduring and permanent and true. It's self-evident. It's endowed by a creator. It's not made up by government or you or me. This is what gives us the power to debate. This is what gives us the conviction to do it civilly. And I would argue that what's being compromised on the college campus, from East Coast to West Coast, from Brown to Berkeley, is this whole concept of the objectivity of truth as the measuring rod of the debate. It has digressed to power and privilege. It's digressed to what the professor says will be discussed, or the college president, because he's cowering in the face of political correctness, permits. We've lost the ability to engage in a good argument because we've lost the measuring rod outside of those things being measured. We've lost confidence in truth, and we now defer to opinions, i.e. politics, and power, rather than the enduring principles, natural law, common sense that's common, that's given to us by God. I'll take a couple callers here, and then we'll move into the break. If I lose you, I will get you back after the break. I would like to, let's see, I've got one caller here that's been holding for quite a while. Richard from Kansas. Welcome to the mic. I'm doing great, Richard. Thanks for calling in. What can I do for you? Where am I wrong?
I just wanted to begin by thanking you for the opening comments you made about what our president's going through with this investigation. You were spot on. We as conservative Christian voters understood that when President Trump became our president, our duty to pray for him, which I do faithfully daily, and as a pastor, I do with our church weekly, but we also understood that be sure your sin will find you out. And Mr. Trump, God bless him, but he's got a spotted past personally. And why do we wonder when all these things come to light if he wouldn't put himself in these positions, but rather, I definitely wanted him to be president over his opponent, but rather was praying for a different person to be in office. But certainly I definitely appreciate your opening comments. And then also, I'm a Jew through my mother. And so, the situation in the Middle East, he's just going to continue to escalate until the Prince of Peace comes and establishes perfect justice. I want to thank you for your comments, and I'll take the comments off the air. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate you calling into the Mike Gallagher Show, and appreciate your patient attitude and spirit. If you listen to what Richard said, as much as his temperament as the words, you'll see the difference in the debate today. Many times when I am confronted by somebody that disagrees with me, it's with vitriol, It's with an angry red face. How dare you say that? I can't believe that you people. And then they venture into various different fallacies. One of the fallacies is called ad hominem. They attack the person. It's shooting the messenger rather than attending to the message. Another fallacy is called ad populum. They'll start saying, well, everybody knows that you conservatives. Everybody knows that you guys believe this. And conservatives sometimes are as guilty of that fallacy as others. We say, well, the left always says this, or the progressives are crazies, they're loons. We need to be careful not to fall into the same trap. We can stand on a higher ground, a more permanent platform, one that's enduring because it's true. Jesus said, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Freedom is only found in the context of those natural laws and the common sense principles that are endowed to us by our Creator. Otherwise, the revelation of God. This is the Mike Gallagher Show, and this is Dr. Everett Piper sitting in for Mike. We'll be right back after the break.
If you've listened to my show before, you know that I have loved ones who have struggled with addiction. Malibu Detox was founded on the basis of providing individualized care in a comfortable, private environment located in 2 facilities in picturesque Malibu, California. Both focused on privacy, anonymity, safety, comfort. If you are on the recovery journey, I want you to remember the phone number I'm about to give you. Because if addiction is wrecking you or your life, your family, your loved ones, if you have private insurance, treatment may cost you little or nothing. Please don't let addiction rob you of one more day. I've been in your shoes. I know what this battle feels like. Make the safe, confidential call to learn all about Malibu Detox. 888-914-7313. This could be the most important phone call you make today. Malibu Detox. The call is safe. The call is confidential. 888-914-7313. Call today before it's too late.
Mike Gallagher.
Freedom. One nation in all of human history was built on that bedrock. Ours. A republic of the people, by the people, and for the people. Self-government requires freedom, just as freedom requires an individual willingness to self-govern. Freedom has made America exceptional, but it can only last as long as you and I seek the good, as expressed by the laws of nature and nature's God. It can only last if you and I choose to act as people of character. Forging character has been the pursuit of Hillsdale College since 1844. Hillsdale College forges character and elevates civic discourse both on campus and nationwide. To find out how you can take their free online courses or receive a complimentary subscription to Imprimis, a monthly speech digest, visit hillsdalefreedom.com. That's Hillsdale Freedom.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg back on Capitol Hill tomorrow to face questions from a House committee. Today he met with combined Senate committees to spar over data user information being compromised in the Cambridge Analytica scandal, among other topics. The White House says citizens of Chad will be able to receive visas for travel to the U.S. again because the African nation's been removed from the travel ban list. Chad made the list in September because of an office supply glitch that prevented it from supplying U.S. officials with recent samples of its passports. That, according to White House spokesman Sarah Sanders. President Trump still fuming a day after agents raided the office of his personal attorney, Michael Cohen, and seized records on topics including a $130,000 payment to an adult actress who alleges an affair with the president. And some National Guard members have started arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border, with more expected. This is SRN News.
Hi, this is Jack from Banyan Hill. You might have heard about that $34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks128.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks128.com.
Been wondering how you can make a difference with your cell phone? Check out Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative cell phone company. Patriot was founded in 2014 by conservatives looking to take on companies that are directly funding liberal causes. Yes, it's really happening. Patriot Mobile was built on conservative principles like the Constitution, smaller government, and free markets and trade. They'll donate up to 5% of each bill to conservative causes. You see, you can make a difference with your cell phone. And as a consumer, how does this sound? With Patriot Mobile, you get the same great nationwide service as Big Mobile. Transparent pricing, competitive plans, easy switching, discounts for active military, veterans, and first responders. Patriot Mobile. Make the conservative choice today. They're easy to find. All you need to know is their address, patriotmobile.com. That's patriotmobile.com. Patriot Mobile, the only cell phone company built on conservative principles.
The backyard's looking great, Rob.
Thanks, man. I was planning on adding a deck, too. Know any good contractors?
Why don't you just ask Home Advisor?
Home what?
HomeAdvisor.com. You just tell them about your project and they match you with local pros that can do the job.
Nice. Now, how much does it cost?
Oh, Home Advisor's totally free to use. Plus, you can read customer reviews, check pricing, and book appointments for free.
What's the website again?
HomeAdvisor.com. Or just download the free Home Advisor app.
Home Advisor.
In the ReliefFactor.com studios.
A few weeks ago, I got to travel to Minnesota to witness the incredible experience of seeing 80,000 MyPillows produced daily. MyPillow is such a great story, and I'm so glad to have MyPillow as an important partner of the Mike Gallagher Show. It's the best pillow I've ever slept on in my life, and I really do believe that just about every Mike Gallagher Show listener better have one to experience the perfect night's sleep that you may be missing with a conventional pillow. This pillow is special because of the patented fill that Mike Lindell invented. And you see Mike on TV all the time with the blue shirt and the cross he wears around his neck. He is not embarrassed or afraid to admit his profound faith. His story, his life story, is the great American dream. A guy who lost it all, lost his family, was in the throes of just terrible, terrible things, invented this pillow, found God, is doing great things for this country, including work with the inner cities and all kinds of neat stuff that you don't even hear about. And he's giving America a good night's sleep. This is the pillow everybody wants to have. Never goes flat during the night, stays nice and cool. Throw it in the washer and the dryer whenever you want and keep it nice and fresh and clean, and it'll maintain its conformity to your head, neck, and back. I love MyPillow. You will too. To order, get 50% off the Mike 4-pack, 2 premium MyPillows, 2 travel, go anywhere pillows, 50% off when you use the promo code MikeG. And the neat thing about going to MyPillow.com, when you enter the promo code MikeG, you'll see the price come off of everything on the site, including the doggy beds and all the great products, the mattress topper that I sleep on. They even have a MyPillow mattress. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code MikeG, MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG, or call 800-928-6034, 800-928-6034. Use the promo code MikeG like we like to sing.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code MikeG.
Welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. This is Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, sitting in for Mike. We've been talking about ideas, the power of ideas. We've been talking about what it means to be a conservative and the conservation of those time-tested truths, those covenantal ideas as opposed to hierarchical ideas. It's a covenant that gives freedom. It's a hierarchy that seeks to control. I learned this from Os Guinness at Oxford a couple summers ago when I was studying there. He told me, if you want the greatest measure of human freedom in the upcoming election, vote for the political platform that is covenantal as opposed to the one that's hierarchical. I concluded that there's very clear that the Democratic platform, the platform of Hillary Clinton, was hierarchical, much more so than the Republican platform, the GOP platform, and the platform of Donald Trump. So even if I have disagreements with some things that are Trump, which I do, and I've said so quite clearly, I still understand that if I want freedom, human freedom, that I've got a decision to make. And every election is an election for the greatest measure of freedom that I can possibly obtain for myself and for my culture and for my kids. And therefore, I check the box for the covenant rather than the hierarchy, because the covenant is endowed to us by our Creator, i.e., our own seminal documents, whereas a hierarchy is constructed by man. That's the difference. Now, I'm going to prove that I can put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to prove, at least I'm going to try, I'm going to prove that conservatives can have a civil and robust exchange of ideas even when we disagree, much more so than liberals. So I'm going to bring a couple callers on that I believe disagree with me, at least in part, maybe not completely, but in part. So the first caller I'm going to welcome on, he's been waiting for a minute, is, let's see, Jim from New York. Welcome to the Mike Gallagher Show.
Hi, Dr. Piper. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. So you disagree with me on a couple things. Tell me what they are.
First, I want to say that I think you had a really great discussion about Mueller overstepping his authority and all that sort of thing. That was very, it was all very well reasoned, very sound, and everything. But one thing, my point that I want to make is that I'm an atheist, and I'm also a firm believer in and supporter of limited government. I call myself a libertaro-conservative. I'm part libertarian, part conservative, but I'm also an atheist, and it really irks me to hear people say, oh, you got to believe in God or whatever to believe in limited government. You don't, okay? You can have a very strong moral compass without religion. You don't have to believe in God.
I agree with you, Jim, in some measure, okay? And listeners, I want you to hear this. Did you hear Jim's tone? It was calm, it was patient, it was kind, it was civil. There were no accusations. He didn't use fallacies. He didn't use ad hominem. He didn't attack me and say, you're an idiot. He didn't use ad populum and say, well, you know, all you conservatives, all you Christians, all you religious people say this all the time. He didn't venture into non sequiturs. In other words, the fallacy of so what? In other words, who cares? Why construct straw mans to break down your opponent? He's actually being a genuinely thoughtful person. Now, I would venture back and I would say to you, Jim, where did your conservative principles come from? That's my issue with you as a Christian. I would say, thank you. Welcome to the club of believing in limited government. Welcome to the club of human freedom, and thank you for welcoming me to your party. But where did these principles come from? They had to come from somewhere. Were they built up by man? Were they constructed by culture? Or are these principles somewhat more enduring and immutable? John Adams said, our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people and is wholly inadequate to the government of any other. You know, I could go through and I could cite other founding fathers that also cited religion. And primarily when they spoke of religion, they were talking about Christian faith as the context for the human freedoms that they were trying to build for this new country and this new culture. And then I would cite an atheist, Matthew Paris, who is an atheist that writes for the London Times, who says boldly that in his experience with the African colonies, the colonies are the countries in Africa that used to be colonized by Great Britain, in his experience with those countries, he believes that, quote unquote, this is an atheist speaking, Christian evangelism is the only solution, because he says without it, these communities, these countries, these cultures will suffer the malign fusion of Nike, the cell phone, and the machete. Now, what is Matthew Paris saying? He's saying that even as an atheist, I recognize that I enjoy my freedoms within the context of this Christian evangelism, which has set up a culture with the greatest measure of human freedom that we've ever enjoyed. And outside of that debate, things have fallen apart quite frequently. Robespierre, for example, tried to take an atheist view to a revolution, and we suffered and France suffered the fate of the guillotine. Why is the American Revolution different from the French Revolution? Well, primarily, it would go back to its assumption in terms of its undergird and its foundation for its worldview that they build that free culture upon. Now, can atheists enjoy and engage in the debate because you recognize that somebody's right and somebody's wrong? Yes, you can. But I would ask you, if you're going to declare me to be wrong, what measuring rod are you going to use to declare me to be wrong other than power and privilege if you don't go back to some immutable, time-tested principle that's been endowed by a creator? That's my question.
May I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that was the longest question I've ever heard. But anyway, all I would say...
Well, it wasn't a question.
No, it started out as one. You started out saying, where do my beliefs come from? And then,
okay, go ahead.
Okay, mine come from a fairly long life of experience and reading and observation. It would take a very long time for me to explain the sources of all of my views and everything. But, I do recognize that, religion does good things sometimes and it does bad things sometimes. But, I'm not really familiar with the experience in Africa that you were talking about. But I'm just saying that a lot of times conservatives say, oh, I'm a Christian, and my Christianity makes me a conservative, and you have to be Christian or Jewish to be a conservative. And I'm just saying you don't. No, I'm an atheist, and I'm, like I said, I'm a libertaro-conservative.
Okay.
But anyway, I don't want to hog the time there. So I appreciate what you're saying, but just please don't hog the tent. There are there are other people with. I'm not saying you're wrong. Okay, if you want to be Christian, you be. That's fine. Okay, but don't say I'm wrong either. Okay, that's all I ask.
Fair enough, Jim. And here's what I'm saying: you're not wrong. Listeners, hear me. I don't think Jim is wrong in standing for conservative principles. I don't think he's wrong in fighting for limited government. I don't think he's wrong in being a person who emphasizes liberty and liberation and freedom and justice. I would just have a question for him. If we are in the same tent, and when it comes to those issues, indeed we are, we're in the same tent of human freedom. Let's look at the track record of human history. When cultures step away from these principles being grounded in a creator, okay, our Declaration of Independence grounds our freedoms in self-evident truths that are endowed to us by a creator. History shows us that when we step away from that foundation, it doesn't end well. Robespierre in the French Revolution, Pol Pot in the killing fields, Mao in the Cultural Revolution. Now, I'm sure Jim is probably saying, oh, stop it. You're listing these atrocities as if atheists all agreed with that. No, I don't mean that Jim believes those things or the others that are in our tent believe those things. But what I do have to ask them is, how do we stop those things from happening again? How do we stop history from repeating itself if we step away from those time-tested truths as being a revelation of God as opposed to a construct of man? And when it comes to experience, I think the Wesleyan quadrilateral comes into play here. I'm a Wesleyan. Well, what's the quadrilateral? It stands for four things as we're looking at a given debate or a given idea. We sift that debate or that idea through four things. It's the lens through which we look at life. The Wesleyan quadrilateral is this: experience, tradition, reason, and revelation. Experience. What does your experience tell you? You've been around the block a few times. It's kind of the Dr. Phil question. How's that one working for you? Experience. Tradition. Time-tested truths have been around for a while because they've been tested by time, and therefore you might want to attend to them. In other words, Grandma and Grandpa might have had a point. Listen to the traditions of the past. Not always right, but often are. So experience, how's it working for you? Tradition, time-tested truths. They've been around for a while. Attend to the things that have endured the test of time. Reason. You've got a brain. Use it. You're the imago Dei. You're made in the image of God. You're not the imago dog. You're not an animal. You're not defined by your libido and your appetite, and your inclinations and your instincts. You can actually think differently and choose differently. And then finally, revelation. Is there a revelation that trumps the rest of the hand? Is there a trump card? And I would argue revelation is that. And I would also remind you of the words of G.K. Chesterton. He said, the only provable thing in all of Christian theology, the only provable thing, and this would be my volley back to Jim. The only provable thing in all of Christian theology, said Chesterton, is this: proof of the original sin. In other words, turn on the nightly news and you can quickly prove that we are a broken race, that mankind is prone to evil, and that outside of some sort of boundary, some sort of fences, some sort of control, the paradox of discipline and freedom, men and women do some pretty bad things. The lesson of history tells us that we are a broken race. And how do you control that brokenness? How do you correct that brokenness? I would argue that the conservative believes that the control and the correction comes from outside of man, not from within. That when man rises up and takes power for the solution, it doesn't end well. Pol Pot, Mao, Stalin, Robespierre, Chavez, and Hitler, Mussolini, all the despots of history thought they had the answer, but it didn't end well. We know that in the words of Christ, we are set free through the pursuit of truth, because it's there outside of you, outside of me, and it allows us to disagree with a measure of civility. This is Dr. Everett Piper, honored to be sitting in for Mike Gallagher on The Mike Gallagher Show this afternoon. The call-in number is 1-800-655-6453, 1-800-655-6453. Welcome your calls right after the break.
I consider it a real blessing to come to work and get to tell you about a product that can relieve your pain, backache, if you have neck pain, leg pain, pain in your hands, your fingers, your joints. Good news, Relief Factor is here. Relief Factor made from high-quality fish oil and essential nutrients and gives your body the help it needs to fight recurring aches and pains. Might be pain from a nice, hard workout at the gym. Maybe it's just pain because of just getting up there in age, just aches and pains. We all get them. Well, physicians created Relief Factor as a crucial way to support the body's fight against aches and pains. How do I know? I tried it. After 2.5 weeks, my lower back pain, poof, gone. I woke up one morning and I thought, holy cow, I don't have any more back pain. Don't take my word for it. Try it. Let them prove it to you. They put together a 3-week quick start. For $19.95, you can try Relief Factor for 3 weeks and decide if it's for you or not. Go to ReliefFactor.com, ReliefFactor.com, or call 800-500-8384, 800-500-8384.
Mike Gallagher. Imagine a politician saying this today. I have wondered at times what the Ten Commandments would have looked like if Moses had run them through the U.S. Congress. That's a quote from Ronald Reagan. He showed us through his life, his faith, and with his words that Judeo-Christian values and principles matter. You can help spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan, and you can do it by getting a Reagan email address. Right now, if you have a Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, or other big tech company email address, you help them market their service with every email you send. In return, they can scan your emails and target you with unwanted advertising. Thanks to our sponsor, ReaganPrivacy.com, you can instead share the Reagan name with every email you send, and they won't scan your emails, they'll leave you alone. Get an email address you'll be proud to own at ReaganPrivacy.com. Your very own personal private email address is available to you at ReaganPrivacy.com. Get your Reagan email address now at ReaganPrivacy.com.
Your credit card companies love you. They love it when your cards stay maxed out. They love it when you only make minimum payments. They love it when you struggle. Why? Because they own you. And minimum payments mean maximum profits. Here's great news. National Debt Relief is now offering you free information on how to escape your credit card debt nightmare. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are only barely making minimum payments, know this: you may not have to pay it all back. In fact, you may have the right to settle that debt for only a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of people get rid of over $500 million of debt, and they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get the information you need for free right now before this offer goes away. Call National Debt Relief now and escape your credit card debt troubles. 800-679-1288. 800-679-1288. 800-679-1288.
The way you get your medicine prescriptions is now changing across America. GoGoMeds.com can deliver your medicine right to your door. Here's all you need to do. Your doctor gives you the prescription. You go online to gogomeds.com, put in your information, and make sure to include the promo code MIKE2018 to save $10 off your first prescription. Your meds are then delivered to your home, and you've saved money. It's that easy. No more waiting, no lines, no copay each month, and best of all, no wandering around the store aimlessly waiting for your prescription to be filled. GoGoMeds.com, the new way to get your medicine delivered right to your door. Remember that getting your prescription filled now means never having to go to a store again. GoGoMeds.com. GoGoMeds.com. Use the promo code MIKE2018 to save $10 off your first prescription. That's GoGoMeds.com, promo code MIKE2018.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Mike Gallagher in the ReliefFactor.com studios.
Welcome back to the Mike Gallagher Show. This is Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University in Bartlesville, Oklahoma, sitting in for Mike today. Honored to do so. I have time to probably take one more caller, and I'm going to set it up a little bit here, and then finish out the day with a little bit of a monologue and a summary. Again, we've been talking about the power of ideas. We've been talking about the conservation of time-tested truths, of self-evident truths, truths that our Declaration of Independence says are endowed to us by a creator, not constructed by culture or constructed by society or man. I've been arguing that there's a difference between the French Revolution, let's say, that of Robespierre, and the American Revolution, that of Jefferson and Adams and whatnot, and Washington. Why is there a difference? I would argue it goes back to Richard Weaver's point in 1948 that ideas have consequences. And the ideas of the French Revolution were ideas of liberty being grounded in government largesse and power, popularity, and politics. And what that led to was not human freedom, but actually it led to the guillotine and blood flowing in the streets. So what's the difference between the French Revolution, a revolution that rose up against injustice, the injustice of the oligarchy of France? What is the difference between that revolution and the revolution of the United States? It's a revolution of ideas. Ideas have consequences. They always bear fruit. Good ideas, good culture, good community, good revolutions, and bad ideas, bad community, bad culture, bad kids, and bad revolutions. As you watch protests in the campus green or on the city streets of Philadelphia or Washington, D.C. or San Francisco or Texas, El Paso, or wherever you happen to live, when you watch these protests, these revolutions, this resistance movement, the key question we should be asking ourselves as conservatives is, what is the idea driving the revolution? Read their documents, listen to their arguments, ask them questions, and then do what Jesus did. Be quiet, shut up, and just listen to the answer. You realize that Jesus, arguably the smartest man that ever walked the face of the earth as a Christian, I believe he was the Son of God incarnate. I believe he knew how to win the debate. I believe that he knew what the answer was. But so often he just shut his mouth after he asked a simple rhetorical question. A question like, whose face is on this coin? Well, why do you call me Lord? Which one of you guys wants to pick up the first stone? And then Christ, the brilliant philosopher, the Son of God, the Word made flesh and dwelling among us, the founder of the Christian faith, even if you're an atheist, you have to agree that Christ's influence, his ideas, have had great impact on human civilization. That man shut his mouth, he was quiet, and he let his adversaries' worldview, he let the worldview of his adversaries implode upon itself as they dropped their stones and walked away. So ask the rhetorical question, ask, where does human freedom come from? Where does justice come from? Where does liberty come from? How do you define these things? Is it given to us by government? Or is this a construct of people? Or is this a revelation of God? Is this a self-evident truth? Is this something that we should work to conserve even more so than the water or the air or an owl or a tree? Again, this is Dr. Everett Piper, president of Oklahoma Wesleyan University, sitting in for Mike Gallagher on The Mike Gallagher Show. Join me tomorrow as I come back and pinch hit for Mike again, and we'll be discussing millennials and Gen Zers in tomorrow's program on The Mike Gallagher Show. Blessings, be of courage, be confident, be bold, and have a great evening.
Let me talk about the tax cuts passed last year by Congress. As you know, not a single Democrat voted for these tax cuts. In fact, these are the same Democrats who called the savings crumbs. Remember Nancy Pelosi's infamous remark? The average family will save about $1,500 or more this year. Some are going to save more. That sounds like crumbs to Pelosi. That's real money to most Americans. I love telling you about the good news. Electric bills have been slashed. 401ks are rising. Dividends, too. All great news for Americans over 50. Where was the AARP during the great tax fight? They were silent, absolutely silent. Worse, AARP's website is now pushing Democrat talking points. Well, at AMAC, they're different. They're completely different. They're working hard to support the tax cuts. You're going to join a group, an over 50 group that reflects our values. Do what I did. Go to amac.us and join AMAC. The stakes are high this November. That's why you need AMAC in your corner. Go to AMAC, A-M-A-C, amac.us.
Is Barack Obama out to stop President Trump? Now, Jerome Corsi's new bestseller, Killing the Deep State, reveals how Obama and his allies are fighting a secret war against President Trump. Killing the Deep State reveals the shocking insider plan to end the Trump presidency. Newsmax says Killing the Deep State is the political book of the year. It's already a #1 bestseller. At bookstores everywhere, or get the free offer and save almost $30. Go online to killingthedeepstate.com, killingthedeepstate.com.
You work hard to recruit the best talent for your business, so you know today's candidates want perks they can enjoy every day. Give them the healthy, active office culture they're looking for with Veridesk Standing Desk Solutions. The new Veridesk ProDesk 60 Electric is a commercial-grade electric standing desk that lets you sit or stand with the touch of a button, and it assembles in under 5 minutes. To learn more about the ProDesk 60 Electric, visit veridesk.com/radio. That's VARIdesk.com/radio.
Mike Gallagher.
I am so excited. The very first offer that I was able to give you from MyPillow is back. Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, has this original offer once again for anyone who wants to buy the MyPillow. MyPillow is offering the Mike 4-pack at 50% off when you use the promo code MikeG. This is the absolute best pillow you'll ever sleep on in your life. I sleep like a baby with MyPillow because it conforms to my head and my neck and my back in a way that no other pillow ever has, ever. And this pillow never gets hot during the night, and you can pop it in the washer and the dryer whenever you want. If you're looking for the perfect pillow, now's the perfect time. Comes with a money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty, great customer service. Go to MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG. MyPillow.com, promo code MikeG, or call 800-928-6034, 800-928-6034. Use the promo code MikeG.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Promo code MikeG.
We are country at its best with a blend of yesterday's memories. WCAB, Rutherfordton.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. President Trump is unpacking his bags. He's decided not to make a scheduled trip to South America.
President Trump will remain in the United States to oversee the American response to Syria and to monitor developments around the world.
White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says the United States is discussing the situation in Syria with other concerned countries.
We're going to continue to work with a number of our partners and allies as we determine what the next best steps are.
Sanders says the president's already spoken with British Prime Minister Theresa May.
Both leaders condemned Syrian President Assad's vicious disregard for human life and agreed not to allow the use of chemical weapons to continue.
President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen, says he's rethinking how he handled a $130,000 payment to adult actress Stormy Daniels. Cohen's comments to CNN were his first since an FBI raid on his office and home on Monday. Cohen says he's still loyal to the president, but he would have handled the payment differently because of how it affected his family. Lawmakers Tuesday pressed Facebook's founder and CEO on privacy after the data of some 87 million users were accessed by a data mining firm during the presidential campaign.
The intrusion by the firm Cambridge Analytica has created the worst privacy crisis in Facebook's history. So has Mark Zuckerberg opened to government regulation of social media platforms to prevent this from happening again?
My position is not that there should be no regulation.
But Zuckerberg tells Senator Lindsey Graham those regulations have to be the right regulations, to which Senator Graham responded.
So would you work with us in terms of what regulations you think are necessary in your industry?
Absolutely.
Zuckerberg also said he took full responsibility for the data breach and apologized on behalf of himself and the company. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
Some National Guard members have started arriving at the U.S.-Mexico border, with more expected as the federal government officials seek ways to curtail illegal immigration. More at townhall.com.
If credit card debt has you down, nonprofit Trinity Debt Management can help. Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees, and drastically reduce your interest. You'll pay thousands less than you originally owed. It's not a loan. It's a way to become debt-free and possibly improve your credit score. So call Trinity and talk to a certified counselor. They'll explain their proven program to you with no pressure, just practical solutions and hope for tomorrow. Are you ready to pay off your credit cards in less time for less money? Then call for a free no-obligation debt analysis and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free no-obligation debt analysis. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
The daughter of a Russian ex-spy has been released from the hospital following last month's poisoning.
Salisbury District Hospital's Christine Blanchard says Yulia Skripal's treatment will continue, but her departure from close medical supervision marks a significant milestone. Now the daughter of ex-spy Sergei Skripal has been taken to a secure location. Blanchard says Sergei Skripal, the apparent target of the attack, is recovering more slowly than his daughter, but continues to improve. No date has been set for the ex-spy's release from hospital. Charles de Ledesma, London.
Panama today prohibited Venezuelan companies from operating flights to Panama in retaliation for Venezuela's diplomatic and trade bans announced last week. The office of President Juan Carlos Varela said the cargo and passenger flights would be banned for 90 days beginning April 25th. Panama is keeping its embassy in Caracas open, though, with a skeleton staff. More on these stories at townhall.com. The notions that parents could safely take a more hands-off approach with their kids is starting to gain more traction around the country.
After Utah passed the country's first law legalizing so-called free-range parenting, groups from New York to Texas are pushing for similar steps to bolster the notion that supporters say is an antidote for anxiety-plagued parents and overscheduled kids. Critics say letting kids strike out on their own can be dangerous. The Utah law specifies that it's not neglectful to let well-cared-for children do things like travel to school or explore a playground on their own, if they're mature enough to handle it. Bob Agnew reporting.
Yvonne Staples, whose voice and business acumen powered the success of the Staples Singers, died today at her home in Chicago. Staples' family gospel group had a string of top 40 hits and scored their first number one with I'll Take You There in the early 1970s. Staples was 80 years old. More at townhall.com.
Hi, Tom Green with a check on your weather going into Wednesday. Partly cloudy, isolated showers, a low around 43. Sunshine, a high 67. Sunny on Thursday with a high 75. And Friday, mostly sunny with a high around 79. We thank you for tuning to us for the latest in news, sports, and weather. Join Jim Bishop at 6:05 for the Wake Up Call Morning Call Around Report with great gospel music. Lou Gillum midday. I'll be in the afternoon with yesterday's memories and the afternoon Call Around Report here on AM 590 WCAB Rutherford.
America's #1 show on pop culture and politics. This is The Michael Medved Show.
And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth. A great day when, however you happen to feel about the president, his reassuring, statesman-like words have caused markets to go up everywhere, have absolutely put the country on a better course. And congratulations, Mr. President. No, I'm not talking about President Trump right now. I'm talking about President Xi of China, who actually gave a remarkably conciliatory series of statements about tariffs, which are beginning to sound like a big win for him and for President Trump and for all Americans. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up almost 500 points in reaction to the idea that China isn't going to play games with this trade war thing. That's very good news. But it doesn't mean that peace has broken out everywhere. There is still a crisis brewing in Syria. The president had indicated he would have a decision soon, but he indicated last night that it was most likely that he would only make an announcement about it after whatever action is taken. He's canceled a trip to Latin America in order to stay around Washington. General Mattis, the defense secretary, has also canceled travel plans. So something serious is brewing. Will it involve some confrontation with Putin's Russia? Probably not, but we will see. Meanwhile, while we're waiting for some warlike actions on Syria, while peace seems to have broken out in the potential trade war between the U.S. and China, there is total war at the moment, it seems, between President Trump and the Mueller investigation. He has, for the very first time, spoken publicly about the possibility of firing Robert Mueller. And there are all sorts of warnings, including warnings from very prominent Republicans, like the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Robert Grassley of Iowa, warnings that President Trump would be damaging himself terribly if he did fire Mueller. So what should the president do? To speak about that, we're going to welcome onto the show in a few minutes Professor Alan Dershowitz, who has emerged as one of President Trump's strongest defenders. He agrees with President Trump that the raid yesterday on Michael Cohen's law offices and the apartment and the home of President Trump's personal attorney. Professor Dershowitz agrees that this is way out of line. This was totally inappropriate, and that President Trump is right to be furious about it. Okay, so we'll ask Professor Dershowitz what he wants, what he would advise the president to do to deal with this emerging situation. Last night, or shortly after I went off the air, so that would be sometime after 6 o'clock Eastern time, President Trump was meeting with his top generals, and it was an impressive sight. I mean, there he was sitting at a long table, and there were generals and admirals sitting on all sides of him. Right next to him on his right-hand side was Vice President Pence. On his left-hand side, John Bolton, on his first day in office as the National Security Advisor. No Secretary of State, because we don't have a Secretary of State right now, because the Congress is dragging its feet in confirming Mike Pompeo, which I hope they will do. In any event, they went to President Trump live at this table full of people, and most of the cable networks expected President Trump would be talking about Syria. And I think it's very clear, and President Trump indicated as much, he would have preferred to talk about Syria. But instead, he got distracted to say this.
So I just heard that they broke into the office of one of my personal attorneys, good man, and it's a disgraceful situation. It's a total witch hunt. I've been saying it for a long time. I've wanted to keep it down. We've given, I believe, over 1 million pages worth of documents to the special counsel. They continue to just go forward, and here we are talking about Syria. We're talking about a lot of serious things with the greatest fighting force ever. And I have this witch hunt constantly going on for over 12 months now. And actually much more than that. You could say it was right after I won the nomination it started. And it's a disgrace. It's frankly a real disgrace. It's an attack on our country in a true sense. It's an attack on what we all stand for.
Okay, an attack on our country and an attack on what we all stand for. This was not, when he used the term break-in, he may have been trying to evoke memories of the Watergate break-in. That was a famous unauthorized illegal break-in. This was not that. This was authorized by the Justice Department. It was authorized not just by the special counsel, Robert Mueller, but it presumably had to go through Rod Rosenstein. It was then referred to the U.S. Attorney in the Southern District of Manhattan, the current acting U.S. Attorney, who hasn't been confirmed yet, whose name is Jeffrey Berman, apparently recused himself from this issue, but it was people in his office who actually directed the FBI agents under the direction of another Trump appointee, Christopher Wray, who went in to Michael Cohen's office. And everyone involved with this has made clear that they were not looking for information on President Trump. They were looking for information on a suspected crime by Michael Cohen. And what kind of suspected crime? Well, people think it might involve an illegal campaign contribution of $130,000 when you have campaign contribution limits of $5,000. So you're talking about 25 times above what you're allowed to contribute in the form of a payoff to Stormy Daniels. The whole thing isn't great, but for President Trump, it represents a new level of unfairness.
So when I saw this and when I heard it like you did. I said, that is really now in a whole new level of unfairness. So this has been going on. I saw one of the reporters who is not necessarily a fan of mine, not necessarily very good to me. He said, in effect, that this is ridiculous. This is now getting ridiculous. They found no collusion whatsoever with Russia. The reason they found it is there was no collusion at all. No collusion.
Okay, and when he concluded, and he kept using terms like disgrace and unfair and total witch hunt, he also tweeted out this morning, total witch hunt. He was asked toward the conclusion of his remarks, not about a pending military strike on Syria, but about a strike against an enemy that is concerning President Trump, it seems, even more right now. Listen.
Why don't I just fire Mueller? Well, I think it's a disgrace what's going on. We'll see what happens. But I think it's really a sad situation when you look at what happened. And many people have said you should fire him. Again, they found nothing. And in finding nothing, that's a big statement. If you know the person who's in charge of the investigation, you know all about that, Deputy Rosenstein, Rod Rosenstein. He wrote the letter very critical of Comey. One of the things I said, I fired Comey. Well, I turned out to do the right thing because you look at all of the things that he's done and the lies, and you look at what's gone on at the FBI with the insurance policy and all of the things that happened. Turned out I did the right thing. But he signed, as you know, he also signed the FISA warrant. So Rod Rosenstein, who's in charge of this, signed a FISA warrant, and he also signed a letter that was essentially saying to fire James Comey. And he was right about that. He was absolutely right. So we'll see what happens. I think it's disgraceful, and so does a lot of other people. This is a pure and simple witch hunt.
Okay, can he fire Mueller? He certainly can fire Rod Rosenstein. That, it seems to me, is clearly within his capacity. Is it a good idea to do so? Chuck Grassley, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, one of the people who will control the future of this administration if the Democrats end up winning the House and push toward impeachment, which I urgently hope they do not either win or push toward impeachment. But is it a good idea to fire Rod Rosenstein? Is it a good idea to go after Mueller? How should President Trump handle this most effectively? Or does Alan Dershowitz think he's doing the right thing right now? Talking down against this investigation. We will get to that with Professor Alan Dershowitz. He's a lifelong Democrat. He supported Barack Obama twice in both elections. But he has been very, very supportive of President Trump, and particularly in regard to this Russia investigation. We'll be right back. Speak to Professor Dershowitz. What should Trump do next? Coming up.
1-800-955-1776. The Michael Medved Show.
Thank goodness spring is here. So now is the time to get those home projects done so you can spend summer being with your loved ones and relaxing. Home Advisor makes it so easy to find the right pros for any project. Seriously, whether it's a small project like fixing a leaky faucet or a big project like a remodel of your kitchen, just go to homeadvisor.com and tell them about your project and what you want to do. In just seconds, you'll be matched up with the best pros in the area for your exact job. The pros are background checked. You can read verified customer reviews, compare prices, check availability, even book appointments right online. And with their project cost guide, you can check what others paid for similar jobs in your area, no matter what the home project is you've been thinking about. Whether it's painting, getting your gutters cleaned, even a big job like a new roof, Home Advisor makes it easy to find and hire the very best pros in your area. Find a great professional now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started. This is Michael Medved, and I'd like to say a word with you about the tax cuts that were passed last year by Congress. As you know, not a single Democrat voted for them. Those same Democrats called the savings from the tax cuts crumbs. The fact is, the average family will save more than $1,500 this year. Now, some will save more. That may sound like crumbs to folks in Washington, D.C., but that's real money to most ordinary Americans. The tax cuts are especially good for Americans over 50 and for seniors, too. Electric bills have been slashed, 401ks have risen, and dividends, too. All great news for Americans over 50 and for our seniors, too. Where was AARP during the great tax fight? They were silent. Worse, AARP's website is now pushing Democrat talking points. At AMAC, they worked hard to support the tax cuts, but they also need to push the government to stop its reckless spending. Congress heard from AMAC's 1 million members loud and clear, but they've still got work to do. Join them. The stakes are high this November, and that's why I need you to join AMAC today. Join right now at amac.us. That's AMAC.us.
WCAB Rutherfordton.
MyPillow. I've been hearing all about this product, and of course I was skeptical that it could be as great as everybody was claiming that it would be. But then I got it and started using it, and right away you can feel the difference, and you wake up feeling the difference from this great, great product. Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, has a very special offer and a new offer for Michael Medved listeners. MyPillow is now offering 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 premium pillows and 2 go-anywhere pillows. If you're looking for a great night's sleep, now is the perfect time to get your first MyPillow. If you already know how great the pillow is, well, why not give them to everyone you know? And getting 50% off the 4-pack, you'll have some extra MyPillows to give as gifts. Call 800-320-6280. Use the promo code MEDVED or go to mypillow.com to get the 50% off. 800-320-6280 and use that promo code MEDVED.
If credit card debt has you down, nonprofit Trinity Debt Management can help. Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees, and drastically reduce your interest. You'll pay thousands less than you originally owed. It's not a loan. It's a way to become debt-free and possibly improve your credit score. So call Trinity and talk to a certified counselor. They'll explain their proven program to you with no pressure, just practical solutions and hope for tomorrow. Are you ready to pay off your credit cards in less time for less money? Then call for a free no-obligation debt analysis and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free no-obligation debt analysis. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
21 minutes after the hour on the Michael Medved Show. As you heard moments ago, President Trump is outraged by the raid yesterday on the offices and the home and the hotel room of his attorney, Michael Cohen. And he's not the only one. One of the best legal minds in America is Alan Dershowitz, longtime professor of law at Harvard. He is also the author of many books. The most recent and most relevant is called Trumped Up, How Criminalization of Political Differences Endangers Democracy. And Alan, it's great to speak to you always. You have been very outspoken about the excesses and wrongheadedness of this raid yesterday. Mm-hmm. How would you advise the president to deal with it? Do you think he did well with his statements yesterday?
Well, I would never purport to advise anybody who is not my client. But in general, I think a person who has been subject to a violation of his confidential communications with his lawyer should immediately file a lawsuit. And the lawsuit should be to protect his own lawyer-client communications. And the lawsuit would seek several remedies. Number one, taking the material out of the hands of the government and putting it in the hands of a court, and having the court make the determination what's privileged, what's not, instead of having a firewall or a taint team, which consists of other prosecutors and other FBI agents and other government officials making that decision. So the first thing I would do is try to get the material back and out of the hands of the government. Then I would sue for damages, because it's not enough that the material won't be used in a criminal case. The Fourth and the Sixth Amendment are very different from the Fifth Amendment. They provide that the government should never, ever have a chance to look at it. It would be as if you were confessing to your priest or your rabbi, and the government wiretapped you and listened to the confession. It's not enough that the confession not be used in a criminal case. The very act of listening to the confession is a violation, or a very act of listening to you and your wife discussing your sex life, which is privileged, or you and your doctor discussing some illness that you might have. Government simply has no business intruding on these kinds of sacred relationships, and it's not enough to have a taint team or another kind of team looking into those kinds of intrusions.
Okay, how do you think this decision was made to raid Cohen's office? It apparently was not a decision by Robert Mueller. He made a referral to the Southern District U.S. Attorney. We now know that acting U.S. Attorney, Jeffrey Berman, recused himself. So who is likely to have made this decision to go ahead with this FBI raid?
Well, we may hear a lot of people saying we weren't involved. Ultimately, the responsibility lies with Ron Rosenstein, who was conflicted up the kazoo in this case. I mean, here's the man who will be called as the first witness if there's ever a trial of Donald Trump or a referral of Donald Trump for obstruction of justice, because he's the guy who told Donald Trump that it's okay to fire Comey. But Rosenstein probably made the decision. I doubt that it would be left to some low-ranking FBI agent or low-ranking assistant U.S. attorney. At the very lowest rank would be the head of the criminal division of the Justice Department in Washington, because Justice Department regs require that it go up there before a lawyer's office be raided. Now, there's one possible exception. They may have taken the position this is not a lawyer. They may have taken the position that Michael Cohen is a fixer, that he doesn't really have a lawyer-client relationship with Donald Trump, that he's the guy who, pays people off. That would be a mistake, because lawyers' work is very broad. It includes paying to settle cases. It includes all of the kinds of things that it is suggested that Michael Cohen did for the President of the United States, whether previous to his becoming president or subsequent to that. So I think in the end, the Justice Department is going to have a hard time justifying what they're doing. It also seems totally disproportional. If what they're looking for is evidence of essentially legal jaywalking, did it violate banking regulations? Did it violate maybe some election laws? These are relatively minor crimes by any real comparative standards, and you don't go raiding the president's lawyer's home, hotel, and office in order to find evidence of crimes like that. Normally that's reserved for terrorism, the mafia, and very, very serious national security type crimes, not the kinds of crimes that we think, we don't know for sure, are being investigated by the Southern District.
Okay, so the problem here is in the executive branch of government. It's in the Justice Department. As you said, this almost certainly had to be approved either by the Deputy Attorney General, Rod Rosenstein, or by the head of the criminal division of the Justice Department. Would President Trump be justified? Would you urge him to fire Rosenstein or to fire the head of the criminal division when he finds out who ordered this raid on his attorney?
I think it's much too early to do that. I think we'd have to first find out what the search warrant said, whether it was justified, what they were looking for. It would seem and be a very political and reactive for him to fire anybody at this point.
So you would urge against that?
I would. I think the person that should have been fired right away was Attorney General Sessions. He pulled a fast one on the president, and there's no excuse for it. He did not tell the president that if he were appointed Attorney General, he'd have to be recused from the most important case in the Justice Department. And you do not appoint an Attorney General to do a half job. If Sessions had told the president, look, I'd love to be Attorney General, but I'm going to recuse myself from any investigation involving the Russian thing, the president would have said, well, thank you, but I'm going to pass on you. I'll get somebody who can do a full-time job, not a part-time job. And I think by not telling the president that he was going to recuse himself, and by not thinking about that in advance, he put himself in a very difficult position. And I think the president is entitled to have an attorney general who is a full-time person. He didn't appoint Ron Rosenstein to be the attorney general, and he's become the attorney general for all intent and purposes. And right now, I don't think he can fire Ron Rosenstein. I don't think he can fire Mueller. I don't think he can fire the head of criminal division. But I'm not so sure about the attorney general who's not involved in the Russia investigation. The question wouldn't be, is he entitled to fire Sessions? The real question would be, is he entitled to pick somebody to be attorney general who might be more friendly to his legal claims?
Yeah, and would have a very tough time getting confirmation. I mean, they are dragging their feet on the confirmation of Pompeo, who's eminently qualified, and I'm sure we both want to see confirmed as Secretary of State. Let me ask you this very quickly, Alan,
but before we get to that, let's remember who invented this confirmation problem. It was the Republicans when Obama and Clinton were president. Look, they didn't even allow a Supreme Court justice to be confirmed. So, one shouldn't be partisan about this. Both parties have a problem of not allowing the other party confirmation.
Okay, and I was going to ask you a partisan question. I know since we met at the White House at a Hanukkah party, I've been surprised to see your friendship with Republicans because you're a lifelong Democrat. Are you thinking about, or is it your intention to vote for President Trump for re-election?
No, it's not. My intention is to vote for a liberal Democrat. There are a lot of people I couldn't vote for. I couldn't vote for Bernie Sanders. Obviously couldn't vote for Jill Stein. I can't vote for a radical left person from the Democratic Party. But if the Democratic Party nominates a reasonable centrist Democrat, that's how I'll vote. I remain a Democrat. I'm not loyal, really. That's not the good word. But I'm a committed Democrat, and I'm committed to keeping the Democratic Party pro-Israel, pro-center, pro-American, and keeping it from being taken over by the anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-center, anti-decency forces on the hard left.
I couldn't agree with you more strongly about the danger of those forces. That's Alan Dershowitz. We'll be back with your calls on the Medved Show.
WCAB Rutherfordton.
With SRN News, I'm Ron DeRockstra. Discussion forum company Reddit issued its transparency report for 2017 during Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg's Senate appearance Tuesday, saying it had found and banned 944 suspicious accounts associated with Russia's Internet Research Agency. Reddit CEO Steve Huffman said in a post that the company's cooperating with Congress and informed lawmakers of its findings Tuesday. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says sending National Guard members to the border has proven to have meaningful impact on immigration and crime. The Republican governor reiterated plans to put more than 1,000 National Guard members into action. The number of migrants apprehended at the southwest border plunged at the start of President Trump's presidency, but have started to rise in line with historical trends. This is SRN News.
If credit card debt has you down, nonprofit Trinity Debt Management can help. Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees, and drastically reduce your interest. You'll pay thousands less than you originally owed. It's not a loan. It's a way to become debt-free and possibly improve your credit score. So call Trinity and talk to a certified counselor. They'll explain their proven program to you with no pressure, just practical solutions and hope for tomorrow. Are you ready to pay off your credit cards in less time for less money? Then call for a free no-obligation debt analysis and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free no-obligation debt analysis. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
Protecting data across modern decentralized networks presents challenges that traditional backup solutions can't handle. At best, you'll waste time and money managing multiple solutions. At worst, gaps in coverage will leave your data vulnerable. Barracuda Backup is a single cloud-integrated solution that simplifies the backup process and allows data replication to anywhere on your network, a private cloud, Barracuda's cloud, or to the AWS public cloud. Reclaim your data. Try Barracuda Backup free at barracuda.com/backup.
Do you have money in the stock market? Are you watching it bounce all over the place? While you're focused on the short-term movement, you might actually be missing what time it really is. We are late in the business cycle, interest rates are flying higher, and overvalued stocks and bonds are going to come down. It's time for a new strategy, gold. My name's Adam Barata. I'm the founder of goldisabetterway.com, and I'm so certain gold is going higher in price and going to outperform stocks and bonds. I've created the world's first gold retirement protection platform ever built. If you have an IRA or 401k, I want to give you free access. Once you see this, you'll have no choice but to agree, and all you need to do is call for your special code. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. On a recorded line, you'll get a special code. You can join the site for free. No salespeople, no rigmarole. Just call 800-900-8000. Get your code. Get it now. Gold is a better way. Gold is a better way. Goldisabetterway.com.
Wondering how you can make a difference with your cell phone? Check out Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative cell phone company. Patriot's mission is to provide a portion of their profits to conservative causes. You get the same great nationwide service as Big Mobile, transparent pricing, competitive plans, easy switching, discounts for active military, veterans, and first responders. All you need to know is their address, patriotmobile.com. That's patriotmobile.com. Patriot Mobile, built on conservative principles.
Minutes after the hour on the Michael Medved Show. Fascinating to talk to Professor Dershowitz and to learn that he is not planning to vote for President Trump for re-election. He is planning to vote for a liberal Democrat who is not Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein or presumably Elizabeth Warren, somebody more in the mainstream of the party. But I find it surprising because he has been so strongly supportive of the president on issues involving the Russian collusion investigation and particularly this raid yesterday, very controversial raid by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York in Manhattan to raid, to seize materials, including tax returns and correspondence and more from President Trump's personal attorney, Michael Cohen. Look, one of the reasons that I think that that this is not simply a distraction, that it is turning more serious, is because what basically brought down Richard Nixon was exactly the same factor that preserved Bill Clinton when he was facing all of his attacks and all of the questions and a full investigation. And yes, he was impeached by the House of Representatives. The point is that the only one charged with serious wrongdoing in that administration was the President of the United States. And what's interesting about this situation is so far there have been no personal allegations about the President of the United States involving his capacity serving as president. And yes, you can say there's the Access Hollywood tape. Yeah, but the Access Hollywood tape was from a long time ago and long before he was president. And his alleged activities with Karen McDougal, which apparently was also found in the Michael Cohen papers, one of the things that they were going after, or the whole Stormy Daniels matters, all of that was before he became president. The point is that President Trump is like President Clinton is unlike President Clinton in this regard. He is not implicated in any personal wrongdoing yet. He might be. But there are people all around him, as there were around Richard Nixon, who were in a world of trouble. That didn't happen with Clinton. And it's one of the reasons Clinton was able to skate. The most important thing for the president, it seems to me, is to follow the advice that Alan Dershowitz just gave on this show, and it's sympathetic advice. Don't fire anybody. If you have to fire somebody, fire Sessions. But the problem with firing Sessions is he'll never get another attorney general confirmed. And then who would serve as acting attorney general? Well, usually it's the deputy attorney general. That's named Rod Rosenstein. If he fires Rod Rosenstein or tries to, just as Alan Dershowitz indicated, it would be a political disaster for the president, seems to me. Let's go to your calls to Russ in Louisville, Kentucky. Russ, you're on the Michael Medved Show.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well.
Good. Well, that last guy was a tough act to follow, but I just want to make a comment. When they raided the offices and so forth without definite knowledge of a crime having been committed, man, that's opened a can of worms.
Wait, hold on. The magistrate found and the prosecutors found probable cause that crimes had been committed. In other words, in order to get that search warrant, which they had, they would have to show probable cause, which apparently they did.
Okay, kind of runs parallel to the FISA warrant's purpose, too. But anyway, it seems like they would be able to go in an individual's home and say, we think a crime's been committed. And
no, what they have to do is they have to persuade a magistrate that, yes, there is probable cause that a crime has been committed. You know what? The crime is very likely here because it seems to me it's inescapable that there's a crime committed. If Rod Rosenstein really paid his own money, $130,000 to Stormy Daniels 6 days before the election, if Michael Cohen paid, because Rod Rosenstein didn't pay anything to Stormy Daniels, if Michael Cohen really paid Stormy Daniels that money, that's a crime. You may remember Dinesh D'Souza actually went to jail for a campaign contribution that was double the legal limit. This would be more than 500%. No, it would be more than 5,000% of the legal limit. And it would very potentially be a kind of serious crime that could get Michael Cohen a prison term. We will be right back with more on this in your reaction. 1-800-955-1776. A quick word from Relief Factor. Mark from Texas writes in, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for months. After an especially painful day dealing with my right shoulder, I decided to order the Quick Start. Good move. Within 2 weeks, at 3 packs a day, the pain and tenderness in both my shoulders noticeably decreased. I am so glad I found Relief Factor. Well, you found it right now. And you can get your own supply by just going to relieffactor.com or calling them at 800-500-8384. Here's the deal. $19.95 gives you a 3-week supply, full supply. And for most people, Relief Factor kicks in and begins working big league within 5-6 days. 4, 5, 6 days. And you know what? After 3 weeks, 80% of people who get the Quick Start find that it works so well that they get more of the stuff. Go to relieffactor.com. That is relieffactor.com. When we come back, how exactly will President Trump handle this, and how should he handle it? More coming up on the Medved Show. Our friends at Blinds.com are the very best at what they do. Instead of me telling you all about them, here's what Blinds customer Marlene from Ohio had to say. She wrote, Blinds.com is by far the most customer-friendly company I've ever experienced. Customer service representatives were very knowledgeable about the products, and they took a lot of time helping me with my selections and color. The blinds were easy to install, and they look just beautiful. The quality is excellent as well. I highly recommend. Well, I recommend too, because my experience tells me to do so. Go to Blinds.com to find the perfect blind shutters, shades, or drapes to upgrade your home. You'll get free samples, free shipping, and a free design consultation too. Plus, they will guide you through the installation step by step. Find out for yourself why over 20 million Americans have trusted Blinds.com, making them the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. And now, through April 22nd, you get a guaranteed 20% off when you go to Blinds.com/Medved. That's Blinds.com/Medved for 20% off. Rules and restrictions apply. That's Blinds.com/Medved. Rules and restrictions apply.
WCAB Rutherfordton.
Connected to your tablet's connected to your laptop's connected to your Wi-Fi. 1 weak link and thieves are in.
The digital world is so connected these days, it just takes 1 weak link for criminals to get in. New LifeLock identity theft protection now adds the power of Norton Security to help protect against the threats of today's connected world.
Your desktop's connected to your smart TV. Your smart TV's connected to your smartwatch.
Threats to your identity, like your info for sale on the dark web. And online threats to your devices, like ransomware. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses, but new LifeLock with Norton detects a wide range of threats to your identity and devices. And if there's a problem, our agents will work to fix it.
Your smartwatch is connected to your video doorbell. Your video doorbell's connected to your smart lock.
Join now and get an additional 10% off your first year. Go to LifeLock.com and enter promo code SMART. That's promo code SMART. New LifeLock with Norton. More detection, more protection.
Every home repair or improvement project should start with a pro you know you can trust. That's why for over 15 years, homeowners have trusted Home Advisor.
Home Advisor is a very easy way to find a home contractor, and for me, it's the only way.
You can use Home Advisor for everything. Your house cleaning, your painting.
Electricians, plumbers, handymen. We've had nothing but fabulous every single time.
Home Advisor is a totally free service that instantly connects you with top-rated pros who have passed criminal and financial background checks. Plus, Home Advisor's True Cost Guide helps you get a fair price by showing you the cost of similar jobs in your area.
It is very convenient to have a price guide to tell me whether something is more expensive than average in my area.
Home Advisor is a total solution to any type of work you would ever want to do around your house.
And best of all, it's completely free. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
My Pillow is offering half price. Yeah, really. Half price on their 4-pack. That's 2 premium pillows and 2 travel go anywhere pillows. It is a fantastic deal. It's much less than you would expect to spend for 4 pillows. Or even for 2 pillows, it's what you might expect to spend for 1. Check it out at mypillow.com. Be sure to use the promo code MEDVED because, boom, you say that magic word, MEDVED, and the price gets sliced in half at mypillow.com, or you can call them toll-free at 800-320-6280. But be sure to mention the promo code MEDVED. One of the things that I think is inescapable here is the difficulty that Michael Cohen is in. And clearly, no one wanted the Stormy Daniels thing to come out. That's why Michael Cohen paid, he says, out of his own money, the $130,000 to Stormy Daniels so that she wouldn't say anything to the press and she'd stop saying anything to the press and deny anything if it came up. It's one of the reasons he paid her that money very shortly, within 2 weeks of the election. I think it's actually 6 days that they actually signed the non-disclosure agreement. And here's the problem. If it's true that President Trump didn't know about this and it was all Michael Cohen's money, then it's definitely a campaign contribution. And it's definitely 26 times the limit of what you're allowed to contribute. And it also wasn't reported as a campaign contribution, not by the campaign and not by Michael Cohen. And if, on the other hand, it wasn't his personal contribution, it actually came from Trump resources and President Trump was behind it while he was still private citizen Trump, well, then he has a perfect right to give that money, to spend that money. But it means that the president has not been telling the truth, and it would be deeply embarrassing and wounding for the president. Would that lead to impeachment? Almost certainly not. But does it complicate the role of Michael Cohen, who is involved in a lot of other affairs with President Trump? Sure. And when I say affairs, I mean business affairs and the other kind as well. There's a professor of law at UCLA whose name is Henry Littman. He's a former deputy assistant attorney general. He's a former U.S. attorney. And he makes a point in USA Today that in order to get the okay to raid Cohen's office, prosecutors would have had to get approval from high up. In this case, from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, and to demonstrate to a federal magistrate both probable cause and the need for a warrant instead of a subpoena. A warrant allows them to just go into the office. A subpoena says, okay, you deliver the papers to us. What's a reason to get a warrant instead of a subpoena? If you're afraid that somebody's going to destroy the evidence. In addition, the probable cause would have had to relate to a crime centered on Cohen, right? Not on Trump or anybody else or any of his clients. Littman says you can't use it as an end run around to get to the client. In this case, Trump. Let's go to Micah in Honolulu, Hawaii. You're on the Michael Medved Show.
Hi, how's it going?
Going well.
I just had a quick question. What's the difference between the lawyer of Donald Trump paying Stormy Daniels $130,000 hush money than, say, for the senators that have their own hush money, but it's actually funded by taxpayers?
Because in other words, that the money that you're talking about with the members of Congress, which is no longer operative, was to reach settlements after a lawsuit had been filed. Stormy Daniels, it was. Stormy Daniels hadn't filed any lawsuit. She only filed the lawsuits recently. So you see, this is money specifically to keep something secret. And obviously things are not entirely secret once someone has filed a lawsuit. So it's a different situation in that regard. Follow?
Right, I follow, but I still don't see how it could be. I mean, it could be played either way. It could be a campaign contribution or not, because...
Well, no, again, so close to the campaign. So close to the campaign. Again, for Trump, you're right. It would be his motivation for his wife not to find out. But for Michael Cohen, a supporter of President Trump, and his lawyer, who says he did this without President Trump's knowledge or support, it would end up being counted as a campaign contribution, which puts Michael Cohen in great legal jeopardy. Robert, Cleveland, you're on the Michael Medved Show.
Hi, Michael. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I just wanted to applaud Alan Dershowitz for having the integrity to place country ahead of politics when it comes to supporting President Trump, understanding that it's more important to maintain our country's constitution than it is to play politics. And we so often are seeing the Democrats and the mainstream media role-playing in the opposite way. And it also reminds me of Joe Lieberman, back however many years ago, when he was doing the same thing when it came to our country's security.
You mean about Bill Clinton?
Yes.
Yeah, but Joe Lieberman voted not to remove Bill Clinton from office and voted on all three counts of impeachment not to remove Bill Clinton from office. Let me ask you this. What do you think that President Trump should fire Mueller?
No, I just think that that we're just seeing the level of zealotry on one side toward the president, and then you're seeing,
So what do you think? What do you think the president should do with it? How should he respond, in your opinion?
Well, it seems as though the level heads are basically saying, let it play out and keep, doing your job as the president.
That's exactly right. You're giving the president very good advice, and the only advice that makes sense. In that regard, look, his statement last night, it wasn't the end of the world, but I don't think it helped him. And he needs to help himself in this regard and not dig himself deeper into holes that may be difficult to escape. We will be right back on The Medved Show.
Your outlet for outrage.
It's outrageous what's going on out here.
It's the Michael Medved Show.
Is a tremendous, tremendous thing, and I'm telling you, it's going to explode.
The Michael Medved Show.
Make your days brighter and full of music. 9 to 11:30 each weekday with Lou Gillum, playing today's hits and yesterday's memories right here on WCAB Rutherfordton.
$34.6 billion that's expected to be doled out in what we call freedom checks. Huge checks that are changing people's lives from coast to coast. People like Sean from Pittsburgh. In fact, he's on the phone right now. Sean, you there?
Yes, I am, Jack.
Sean, let me ask you, how do you like getting these massive checks in your mailbox every month?
Well, Jack, we used to put stuff on credit cards living paycheck to paycheck. But now, after we started collecting a specific kind of freedom check, I have to say, life's a lot more fun.
I bet it is. In fact, getting massive freedom checks is fun no matter who you are. And with $34.6 billion expected to be paid out in private, non-government money starting as early as May 1st, now's the time to stake your claim on some cash. To get all the details, go to www.freedomchecks127.com before the May 1st deadline. That's www.freedomchecks127.com.
WCAB Rutherfordton.
Remember when WikiLeaks exposed all those government secrets in 2013? Well, you'll be shocked to hear this secret too. If you have any of your hard-earned savings in a 401k, IRA, or other retirement account, listen up. You've been lied to about your retirement. It's all because inflation is secretly much, much worse than you know. We've got our hands on a secret document that exposes the government lies and shows how the value of your money is practically leaking away. To get your hands on this Government Lies Exposed report, call Noble Gold right now at 800-294-4280 and leave your email on this secure 24/7 voicemail. This document also reveals a secret way you can use gold to protect your 401k or IRA from this inflation catastrophe. Just call 800-294-4280 now to get a free copy of this secret document that shows how gold could save your retirement. Again, call Noble Gold at 800-294-4280 and leave your email on the 24/7 voicemail now. Call 800-294-4280.
Mike Gallagher again. Yep, I'm incredibly grateful that my friend Hugh Hewitt told me all about Relief Factor. I was having lower back pain. Hugh had been in pain. And you know what? I tried Relief Factor for about 2.5 weeks. My lower back pain was entirely eliminated. It's a great feeling to share with you the great news, knowing that tens of thousands of others are now in less or no pain because they too ordered the 3-week quick start for $19.95. If you're in pain, simply go to relieffactor.com or call 800-500-8384.
You work hard to recruit the best talent for your business, so you know today's candidates want perks they can enjoy every day. Give them the healthy, active office culture they're looking for with Veridesk Standing Desk Solutions. The new Veridesk ProDesk 60 Electric is a commercial-grade electric standing desk that lets you sit or stand with the touch of a button, and it assembles in under 5 minutes. To learn more about the ProDesk 60 Electric, visit veridesk.com/radio. That's VARIdesk.com/radio.
Be suicide for the president to fire him. I think the less the president says about this whole thing, the better off he will be. And I think that Mueller is a person of stature and respected, and I respect him. Just let the thing go forward.
That was Senator Charles Grassley, the veteran Republican who is chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee, suggesting that it would be a disastrous idea for the president to fire Bob Mueller. I think that all all people who think about it for more than 10 seconds recognize that that is the case. Will the president heed that advice? I think it's likely that he will. Because, again, if he fires Mueller or if he fires Rosenstein at this point, then it would be very, very difficult to get anything else done on behalf of the people for the remainder of his first term. Let's go to Howard in Houston, Texas. You're on the Medved Show.
Yeah, several points. I don't know how Dershowitz can be saying he's going to vote for an unnamed liberal Democrat when the number one man in the Senate has taken as a number two someone who's with the arch anti-Semite of America at this time.
Wait, who are you talking? Who's the arch anti-Semite? Wait, who's the arch anti-Semite in America?
Farrakhan.
Wait, who is taken on Farrakhan? Because the number one man in the Senate is Chuck Schumer, who is not anti-Semitic. He's in fact number two man is
Democratic Party.
is Dick Durbin.
All right, the number two man in the Democratic Party is a congressman from Minnesota.
Oh, Keith Ellison. Yeah, Keith Ellison did not win as Democratic National Chair. I agree with you. I think Keith Ellison is a disaster and is deeply compromised. The point about Alan Dershowitz, and again, it's interesting. He was supportive and defensive, protective of President Bush at the same time that he was voting against President Bush twice, at the same time that he was voting for President Obama later on. So I'm not surprised he's somebody who's deeply committed to the Democratic Party. You had something else, Howard?
Yeah, and not only that, but his party supported that disastrous deal with Iran.
Correct. It makes no sense at all because Alan Dershowitz is somebody who understands the dynamics of fighting Islamo-Nazi terror. And he's been strong on terror-related issues. And the Democratic Party has not been strong on those issues. They seem to be more concerned about Islamophobia than a murder by Islamic radicals. Now, okay, that might be overstating it, but I think you're entirely correct. It doesn't make any sense at all for people who understand the stakes of what we are experiencing right now to say, no, I'll vote for any unidentified Democrat over President Trump or over whoever the Republican nominee will be. But there is so long to go and a crucial election to go before that nominee is chosen or history plays out in this greatest nation on God's green earth.
WCAB, Rutherfordton.
I've been hearing all about this product, and of course I was skeptical that it could be as great as everybody was claiming that it would be. But then I got it and started using it, and right away you can feel the difference, and you wake up feeling the difference from this great, great product. Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, has a very special offer and a new offer for Michael Medved listeners. MyPillow is now offering 50% off the 4-pack, which includes 2 premium pillows and 2 go-anywhere pillows. If you're looking for a great night's sleep, now is the perfect time to get your first MyPillow. If you already know how great the pillow is, well, why not give them to everyone you know? And getting 50% off the 4-pack, you'll have some extra MyPillows to give as gifts. Call 800-320-6280. Use the promo code MEDVED or go to MyPillow.com to get the 50% off. 800-320-6280 and use that promo code MEDVED.
Let the WCAB marketing team go to work for your business. It works. Call Tracy or Jim at 287-3356.
Tower from townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra. Can President Trump fire special counsel Robert Mueller? The president seems to think so.
Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says there are no personnel announcements to make, but that President Trump thinks he has the authority to remove Robert Mueller.
Certainly believes he has the power to do so.
Sanders says the president has cooperated with the special counsel's office and that Mr. Trump has conveyed his unhappiness with the ongoing investigation, as well as this week's FBI raid of his personal attorney's office. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is promising to cut auto imports, improve intellectual property protection, and boost imports. The White House welcoming the announcement. Press Secretary Sanders says if negotiations with the Chinese fail to reach an agreement, President Trump still is prepared to follow through with his proposed tariffs on imported goods. It was a long day on Capitol Hill Tuesday for Mark Zuckerberg. The Facebook CEO and founder appeared before a joint Senate committee about the worst privacy issue in the social media giant's history.
It involves the data mining firm Cambridge Analytica, which accessed the private information of some 87 million Facebook users without their consent on behalf of the Donald Trump campaign. Mark Zuckerberg does not deny that it happened.
So we have made a lot of mistakes in running the company.
And he told senators those mistakes are not just about Cambridge Analytica.
We were slow in identifying the Russian information operations in 2016.
Zuckerberg adds going forward, Facebook must change its thinking.
We need to take a more proactive role and a broader view of our responsibility.
And that includes, he says, working with Congress on what he calls the right regulations. Linda Kenyon, Capitol Hill.
The results of the latest Nation's report card are in, and the news isn't good for education. According to the National Center for Education Statistics, fourth graders made no improvements in math or reading, and eighth grade scores were flat in math. News and analysis, townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards. The interest on the cards was really high. I was making the minimum payments, but barely. And it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
They did help me learn how to manage my money. Now, we have a house, and we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Holly, and I am debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
U.S. wholesale prices increased 0.3% in March, driven higher by the largest increase in food costs in nearly 4 years.
The Labor Department says the March gain in the Producer Price Index followed a 0.2% increase in February and a 0.4% jump in January. Food prices at the wholesale level surged 2.2%, with many categories showing gains. Energy costs, however, fell 2.1% as gasoline prices dropped 3.7%, the largest monthly decline since last May.
Correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Over the past 12 months, wholesale prices have risen 3%, the fastest annual pace since last November, and another sign that inflation pressures have started to increase after years of being dormant. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan signing legislation to stabilize health insurance rates in the state. Healthcare exchange financially troubled individual market. More on these stories at townhall.com. Some National Guard members are starting to arrive at the U.S.-Mexico border.
The president says illegal immigration and crime are at a crisis point at the border as immigrants stream in.
We have no idea who they are, what they do, where they came from.
So he's decided to ask that National Guard troops be sent to the border until his wall can be built. Money for the wall is stalled in Congress. Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas have all pledged to send in guardsmen, almost half of the number the president requested. He wants as many as 4,000. California, the only border state with a Democratic governor, says it's still reviewing the president's request. Rita Foley, Washington.
Bill Cosby's retrial took a far more combative turn Tuesday than the first go-around. Lawyers launching a scathing attack on his accuser and prosecutors putting the first in a parade of women on the stand to portray the comedian as a sexual predator. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Ron DeRockstra.
Hi, Tom Green with the check on your weather going into Wednesday. Partly cloudy, isolated showers, a low around 43. Sunshine, a high 67. Sunny on Thursday with a high 75. And Friday, mostly sunny with a high around 79. We thank you for tuning to us for the latest in news, sports, and weather. Join Jim Bishop at 6:05 for the Wake Up Call, morning call-around report, and great gospel music. Lou Gillen midday. I'll be in the afternoon with yesterday's memories and the afternoon call-around report here on AM 590 WCAB Rutherford.
America's #1 show on pop culture and politics. This is the Michael Medved Show.
And another great day in this greatest nation on God's green earth. A great day to confront a great and perplexing question. What is the biggest influence on the way a state votes? Is it the racial composition of that state? No way. No, really, it's not. Some of the whitest states in the country, particularly in New England, where the states are overwhelmingly white and Anglo-white, are among the most reliable Democratic states anywhere. Okay, so it's not race, and it's not racial diversity or racial composition. What does determine how states vote? 1-800-955-1776. Is it economics? No, some states that are very poor and very in between vote both ways. And in fact, if you look at individuals in the United States of America, people at the very top and at the very bottom of the income scale tend to be Democrats. People in the middle tend to be Republicans. But you can't break that down state by state. You know what you can break down state by state as determining the way that people vote? How seriously people take religion. There is a new Gallup poll called the Religious Regions of the U.S., and it's absolutely fascinating because of what it says about different religious groups in different parts of the country. There's another new international poll that reveals that in one dangerous addiction that the experts, various academics, have identified, the United States, just like with opioid addiction, leads the world. Should we be worried? We will get to that addiction just a little bit later. But first off, the Gallup poll most recently did a massive analysis about religiosity in the United States. And what they asked is they asked people about not only how often they attended services, but they asked them a general question. For you, is religion very important? Is it somewhat important? Or not important? And overall, people across the country were more likely to say it's very important or somewhat important than to say, no, not at all important. Except in the following states, which, and they rank this by state, the most religious state in the country. You want to care to guess? I know a lot of people would guess Utah. Utah's up there. It's number 3. But number 1 and 2 are Alabama and Mississippi. In Mississippi, 63% say religion is very important to them. Only 11% say religion's not very important. Wow. 6-1 people deeply committed to religious faith as opposed to not at all interested. And by the way, on the other extreme, you think that California would be down there toward the very bottom? No, actually, California is not. California is kind of in the middle. So what's at the very, 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 very bottom, the least religious state, is Vermont, where 56% of people say, I'm not at all religious, I don't care, I'm not interested, leave me alone, I think it's all nonsense, whereas only 22% say religion is very important to them. 1-800-955-1776. A part of what they find out in this is they break it down into regions, and the least religious region of the United States is New England. The most religious region of the United States is what they call the Southwest. Now, why is that? Because for them, the Southwest is not Arizona, New Mexico. That's basically the Rockies, at least the way that the Gallup poll divides it. What they talk about as the Southwest is Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, all deeply religious states. Very religious Americans say religion is important to them, and they attend religious services weekly or almost weekly, Gallup defines. Moderately religious Americans either say religion is important to them or they attend services almost weekly or more often. Non-religious Americans say religion is not important to them, and they seldom or never attend services. Part of what is operative here is the different components of a religious affiliation in different states. Gallup writes that nationally, the level of religiosity varies significantly by age, race, ethnicity, and religious affiliation. Which religious denomination is most likely to say they're very religious, that religion is very important to them, and they attend services regularly? Both would be Mormons. 73% of the members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints say, yep, I go to services all the time, and religion's very important to them. Protestants in general are next most religious, 50%. Muslims, only 45%. Catholics, 40%. And by far the least religious denomination in America is Jews. Now, this doesn't surprise me, frankly, having grown up in and being an active and proud part of the Jewish community. Only 18% of Jewish Americans say that religion is very important to us, and we do attend services weekly or more often. Wow. Okay, this is a very, very dramatic difference. And by the way, the younger generation, as always in the past, and the polls always show this was always the case, younger people are by and large less religious. Among people under 30, only 28% are very religious. For those 65 and older, 47% are very religious. What about African Americans? African Americans are the most religious ethnicity in America. 48% say they're very religious, whereas among whites and Hispanics, it's the same. Only 36% say we're very religious. Some of the extremes here, people living in Mississippi are more than 3 times as likely to be classified as very religious as those living in Vermont. 59% versus 16%. Okay, what does all this mean? What it means is that basically what divides Americans politically more than economics, more than the very rich or the very poor, is the very religious versus the not at all religious. Let me give you just a sample of what I mean. If you take a look at this list, here are a list of the least religious states: Vermont, Maine, Massachusetts, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii, Rhode Island, New York. Okay, see any Republican bastions there? There is only one in that list of least religious states, New Hampshire, which can go either way. It has a Republican legislature right now. I think it has a Republican governor still. And New Hampshire can go either way. It did carry for Hillary Clinton last time. Okay, but all those other states, Democratic bastions. Now, here's a list of the top 19 most religious states, and tell me what you notice. It's hard not to notice. They're all rock-ribbed Republican states, all of them. Mississippi, Alabama, Utah, Louisiana, Tennessee, Arkansas, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Kentucky, Texas, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Kansas, West Virginia, Nebraska, North Dakota, Idaho, and Indiana. These are all states that carried for President Trump, and they're all states in which close to half, or well above half in some cases, of people say they're very religious. Why should religion tilt people in a more conservative direction? Why does it work that way? I think it's worth getting into that. And also to take a look at this other survey that says that Americans are suffering from a crippling addiction at a much higher rate than people in other parts of the world, particularly than our colleagues in the favored nations of Europe. 1-800-955-1776, our phone number. We'll be right back with more and on faith, fellowship, and political orientation coming up on the Medved Show.
Your outlet for outrage.
Outrageous.
The Michael Medved Show. 1-800-955-1776. The Michael Medved Show. That's 1-800-955-1776.
Thank goodness spring is here. So now is the time to get those home projects done so you can spend summer being with your loved ones and relaxing. Home Advisor makes it so easy to find the right pros for any project. Seriously, whether it's a small project like fixing a leaky faucet or a big project like a remodel of your kitchen, just go to homeadvisor.com and tell them about your project and what you want to do. In just seconds, you'll be matched up with the best pros in the area for your exact job. The pros are background checked. You can read verified customer reviews, compare prices, check availability, even book appointments right online. And with their project cost guide, you can check what others paid for similar jobs in your area, no matter what the home project is you've been thinking about. Whether it's painting, getting your gutters cleaned, even a big job like a new roof, Home Advisor makes it easy to find and hire the very best pros in your area. Find a great professional now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
My fellow Americans, remember when WikiLeaks exposed all those government secrets in 2013? Well, you'll be shocked to hear this secret too. If you have any of your hard-earned savings in a 401k, IRA, or other retirement account, listen up. You've been lied to about your retirement. It's all because inflation is secretly much, much worse than you know. We've got